I'm focused. I've been watching for the omens. I've been listening to everything you said. It's been running through my head, locked and loaded. I got the feeling that you know it. Yeah, I've only just begun. I won't stop until it's done, till you're broken. So welcome to the fire. I'm the one with the lighter. Flame that burning through your veins as we're walking through the flames, getting higher. Bigger they are, harder they fall.
We return to the dark, to the darkness, a place without light and a place without time. Space, time, things frozen, stasis, a clock rewinding faster than you were moving, cracked and broken, crushed inwards by the fist of some sort of shadow being that Grok was very, very close to, yet did not interact with. As you were saving your engine, a shadowy form with massive, the only way you ever recognized it in the darkness was its long antennae, which would reflect light, would shift towards you. Massive, protruding from the top of this shadow's head, but it crushed the clock face of your grandfather clock, parts of which you had already disassembled pre and mid during this kind of stasis in time. Things that you had done during timelessness. Somehow you managed to spend more than 5 minutes in a stasis of time. Just you and your items moving along with you. Everything you stopped touching froze, as if displaced in space. 5 minutes. 50 bolts of magical energy fired into an amalgamation of flesh and metal. And that sound, 50 bolts of energy dispersed from Grok in this stasis of time, each bolt ejected from his source of arcane energy and left in space, frozen until the moment of release. The moment you drop that engine off of the edge of your ship through a hole seeming like the wall had blast open, and you were able to aggressively push your engine out of the wall of the ship. You can take note that your engine has 40 hit points. Mm-hmm. You have no idea how much damage it has taken. And there is a moment where you look back and you have just dragged your engine off the ship, and it is looking like it should be falling, but it's stuck in this stasis moment. That shadow monster crushes the time machine. And there is a flash. An eruption of sound, far closer to the two of you, Meliorn and Moki. Cicero and Moki, you hear behind you as a sound like an electrical thunderstorm, but amplified 50 times, 50 feet away from you, rumbling that is there for half a second, and then it is followed by concussive blasts that seem to ring for not 6 seconds, but almost like a minute of non-stop thunderous booming. Echoes that surround you and vibrate through your feet. Feet that have been shifted in space, in time. Cicero, you are on Moki. Half on Moki's rear back half, like you've only been kind of roughly pushed to the back of his hide. Moki, you feel the weight on your back, but you also feel the weight in your arms. As you see I kept describing it as buffalo, and I apologize, that was wrong. It is a hippopotamus humanoid. In this part of the world, hippos and humans merged. He is thin. He is of a creature that holds so much mass. You feel with some added magical attunements. You feel a almost weightless touch to his body. As you carry him, he groans and sputters, trying to speak, but actually inhaling, not realizing he had no breath. What? He stutters to breathe. He doesn't know where he is, what he's doing. Where are you? You're at the top of a deck of a metal ship. Your body is halfway across, and beside you is a wall of metal, and half of this wall is transmuted into a pillar that seemed to be forming out of the ground and going upwards, spiraling to meet the upper areas of a deck beside you, like this wall of metal stretched itself out and became a tall pillar beside you, instead of this neat square boxes that you're seeing everywhere around you. Beside you, this hideous shape and the sound and flashing of white light behind you. You don't feel like you're in motion. You feel like you've just stopped or landed, but you can feel there is a thick coldness to the left side of your body where you were connected to something that was flesh and metal. What do? You are the first to really have any idea what's happening, though you feel weight behind you, Meliorn, Cicero. I've got it written here.
Are we in motion or are we just...
A massive, like, series of bangs basically getting flash grenaded from behind, so they're kind of jarring, added to the fact that you had just snapped awake and then the explosion hits. So it's this kind of flashbang stumbling step forward that you would then take. You don't know technically which direction you're moving, although when your eyes begin to focus, you're seeing that it's the back half of the ship. It's the back half. It's the shortest, lowest, most protruding side. The area behind you was much taller and had building blocks much bigger than the area of elevation you are at. The buffalo in your hand, what do you do with it? You're carrying it, it's pretty lightweight, but he's starting to, like, wriggle. He doesn't know where he is. You can see there's distress on his face. And you look at your arm, the arm that was black, half of it is covered in this dark metal reflective color.
Drop the hipper. Where's Cornell?
You make a perception check. You've just been flashbanged, so this is gonna have a -2 penalty. That's it.
I can do that. Perception.
Meliorn, you're on his back. You hear
Oh, fuck.
winded creature.
8.
Look around.
Your rear half. You almost get bucked, almost, by that flash grenade. 8. You only notice that there is a smoldering smoke trail behind you. There is what looks to be a kind of, and it's only that you smell it more than you see it. It is some massive amount of noxious smell that is behind you, and then you catch that scent also in front of you with an 8. It's not clear on its direction, but it's certainly ahead of the way you were already looking. Behind you, it's that flashbang and then the smell of burning. Ahead of you, there is that smell too. It's just weaker. You don't have a clear direction. You've dropped the thing. Do you just walk over the hippopotamus, man?
I'll be nice and I'll make sure not to step on him.
Step
But
over
I'm
him.
just... Cornell! Cornell, where are you, Cornell?
What? Oh god.
Make a survival check for me.
I'll make a survival check.
Although you still die.
Yes.
You can see his body's in some ways smoldering, in some ways looks kind of discolored, and you're also noticing that there is a strong irony taste, like your tongue is covered in blood, but it's not.
23.
23.
That was just throat fucked by a head, so...
When you put it like
that
that,
was like 2 minutes ago.
it's like 2 minutes ago.
But
Sorry, would you say 30?
23.
23. It's the smell. You follow the trail leading you down towards the back. You see there is a set of feet hanging down a set of stairs, a body that has been ricocheted, the neck snapped at a wrong angle. You can see where bone protrudes. You think it's a bit of the spine.
it's a lady.
You can't even get a good amount of features other than the neck is clearly snapped. He is very much dead. His
run
body is
towards him.
smoldered, but it's actually down the stairway that you came up to get down to the bridge the exit to this place.
I'll
You
slip
get him.
off Murphy's ass.
He's halfway down the stairs, the hardest stairs you found to get up.
Yeah.
His body is just upside down, half like hanging downwards, loosely.
Oh no.
I slip off your ass and I'm standing next to the hippo.
You see the hippo man's like just trying to like get up.
I just go to the top of the stairs where Cornell is.
You can grab his foot and pull him up.
Yeah.
So he's dense, and you notice that he's heavier than he was before, for sure. You are heavier than you were before, and as you pull yourself and him up, there is that kind of added pull, and you're realizing that there's something coiled around your arm where there wasn't before. Something that it seemed to naturally. It's hard to see the coloring. It's covered in blood. It smells terrible, but it feels like leather, and it almost hurts, like severing some of the hairs as it coils up your right arm, your strongest arm. You have no idea how that just came onto you, but you feel suddenly it gets lighter, and you pull his body up. You can lay it on the ground, put it on your back, carry it. Good. I am a friend of Grok. You've met me before.
How did we get here?
Yes. I'm not sure. We were just in the captain's quarters. Where is?
What's Grog doing?
There's a machine there that our captain told us not to touch. It allows time to function differently on the inside of the ship. Allows work in some areas to be slowed down so the people inside could speed up. But if that machine was broken, then this could explain the distorted feel. I feel like I'm in two places at once. I don't know. And you actually notice the moment he says, "I feel like I'm somewhere else," you see his whole body. Actually, make a perception check.
Concrete base. Number 18.
18. That's still good enough.
I got 9.
9. You needed a 15, and what you notice is, I don't know. There's a blink. There's a second where his body looks like it disappears and then reforms. Like, suddenly you can see through him for 1 second, and then boom, the pale face, the discolored. He still sounds as winded as he was before. I think we are stranded out here. Unless we have found some of the escape boats. I don't know a way we can get out.
I have the boat. How do we get down?
The real half of the ship, and he points the direction that you heard Moki run to. But at this point, even looking down that path from the stun behind you and around you, all of that light, it's like the whole area is smudged in darkness. I don't think this place is safe. We must go. And he tries to get to his feet and uses the guardrails at the side of the ship to pull himself along. His legs can barely actually hold him up. You can see his upper body looks much heavier than his lower half.
Can you walk?
I think I can start to get the feeling in my legs back. I think so. Your 2 droplets of water was enough. That's what he says as he continues. Okay. Murky, begin to hear behind you the slow. And you think it's Melion, but the voice is too deep, and you realize it's this thing you dropped.
I think it's Melion, but
You think it's Melion. But you see Cicero, the face, you actually see around the edge of his lips, there's a bit of a discoloration. You make your way. There is actually still a kind of what Moki had before, which was a fire, a torch, a burning, wrapped in a type of cloth. But that is on the floor next to Cornell's body, barely sputtering with a tiny bit of life on metal floors. You have a tiny bit of life next to Cornell's face, which gives you a clear idea that, and you were right beside Grok. This creature that Grok shot the electricity at didn't seem to be the main target of Grok's spell. You can see up the side of Cornell's face. It's an ember's worth of light just next to his head, and there is a massive ripping up the side of his left face. There is no skin, and his left face, his left cheek. There is no cheek. There is simply raw skin and blood gushing from every pore, but the blood is black.
Burnt. Just
What do you do?
foul look comes over Murky's face as he
He looks back at you with the foul look.
scars that cover Cornell's face.
You even notice that just a tiny bit, he had a fang that you didn't see before, and it was metal.
Oh.
Like his jaw was ripped, and you can see just the inside of his
Oh.
teeth.
I'll pick Cornell up. Brian will carry.
You pick him up, and you realize there's
Let's go.
one of his arms is double the size. One of Cornell's arms is double the... Like, you're carrying him, and one arm is easy, slumping in the body, the other arm hangs, and it looks like it's covered in, like, a metal shade.
Like what, my arm?
Much more.
Oh.
Much more.
Is that the way down the ship?
It is one of them. There is a ramp over that way.
Okay, stop. There is a ramp.
17.
Okay. I'm going to say the DC was 20, but I think 17 is pretty good. You take 1 point of damage, bludgeoning, as your front legs hit the ground with a heavier amount of force than you were expecting, and you can feel like a heat kind of swell up in your front, what is it called? Front feet? Legs?
Legs.
Hooves. Yeah, the kind of, where the bone meets, there's a kind of a warm swelling through that. But you've made your way down, and, Cicely, we can go down the stairs. It's easy. I mean, he just did it.
Yeah.
He's avoiding the ramp.
Okay.
It is a pleasure to meet you. Thank you for saving my life. As he starts to climb his way down first.
Right.
He just takes, like, the position of the middleman.
Did I meet this guy of first time?
You only saw him, well, you saw him, he probably waved to you, and definitely he acknowledged that you existed, didn't know your name or anything.
Yeah.
But he was on the crow's nest with what looked to be, it's not called, D&D is Aarakocra. It's called a sphinx. It's a type of bird creature that is white-feathered and more owl than seagull, but so that was his compatriot up there. You saw a white kind of bird creature and this hippo man up the top and he looked like he had a much larger rifle gun. Now he's just got 2 pistols strapped to his waist. It is literally broken and it's now hanging on a second pole
Nice.
towards the back half of the ship. So in the direction you're going, but you head down the stairs, you follow him.
I'll jog a bit, if I can jump on Murky's back. I will.
Yeah. You easily catch up to Moki, but even Moki, you're realizing that there is a 15-foot wide size hole. Every door that you ran through, but Grok was closing behind you, only could barely fit your body. Now there is a wall opening. There is a space fitting for a monster to move through. And this kind of like continuous tunnel down the rear half towards the prison chambers. It had eaten the walls that were made of metal. And you even notice that the path that it was taking the entire time, the floors were gone. Stripping the floors of metal, it was taking everything. This thing has made the path outwards far easier than the tight, narrow spaces this ship once held. So you find the prison cell also open with a large hole where that woman was stuck before, and just behind that prison cell is where that downwards ramp is. But you were left. Meliorn makes quiet sounds as he scutters back inside, and we will move to Grok. Grok, you have just moved the edge of the engine off the ship, in which, now that you look back and that monster exists, you hear beside you, which is actually a comforting sound, because that means the vibration plates that were supporting the engine held intact. That's a good vibrating sound. It means the exterior shell of your engine is still stable and has not taken the damage needed to destroy it. But you look back where that clock was, and you can see it has been crushed inwards, the actual, not any of the hands down the bottom, but the upper part, and that shadow form is gone. What do you do?
Grog will walk up, climb upstairs
Climb to your room.
into his room, and then heads to
You can head to Fee's quarters above it.
James Cook.
Okay.
What's his name? Where is it?
The cook.
Who is he?
Yeah, I was holding the bow, but holding this.
Yes.
Yeah, we gotta drop that. When I was up there, I dropped it.
Okay.
James Cooler? Oh, the ship next. The
Death
room right
Stalker.
next to Grog's room.
Butch.
No.
Oh, here it is. You're talking about the cook. I don't know if you ever wrote down the cook's name, but I did. Patty.
Yeah.
It wasn't Patty.
Sorry, back down.
Is
It's
that
returned.
James Cooler?
Are you talking about because you have two cooks? You have the cook that you were shipwrecked with, and then you have the other cook. I think the other cook you have made.
Spoiler.
You didn't make any cooks. Who are you talking about?
I'm just looking at this. But yeah, right next to Grog's room. What the fuck is that?
The inner cooler.
Oh, the inner cook. Okay.
Half the chamber used to cool the hottest room in your ship. Yeah. It is right next to the armory, but it's almost beneath your armory. So there's a way to enter it, but that cooler room goes down to the engine room below as well.
Hottest room in the ship because Grog's in there. Ooh,
Yeah.
boy.
Cook's room, I do see where.
Yeah.
All good. Okay, so what are you gonna do?
Grog is just gonna look there for anything to help him get out of here, as I will cast infernal healing on myself, so it's not here.
There is something that in this room comes in particular use. It is something that is frost resistant. This room is one of the coldest room in the ship, but you can see that it is being used to hold up one of the coils used to conduct the frost of this room. And what holds the frost device aloft, which only ran as long as the engine in this ship ran, is the iron rope. Which you can have.
I'll pick it up, wrap it around his shoulder, and then Grog will try to get to the cooking room.
Okay, that would be just the crew, not the crew quarters, but the main hall, food hall.
So Grog's gonna head to the main food hall to try to find some water.
Okay.
And some preservatives. So we can...
Yeah, well, your whole room had basically been swallowed by the hippopotamus man. You get down, and very stagnant water. Actually, a lot of this water had been received from this lake, probably only hours or days before this event had happened. So you know that the water that is collected and the water that you find, even as you give it like a taste, it is briny, but it doesn't have a strong salty backwash, meaning that it is fresh water and it doesn't need to be boiled. But if you boiled it, it would remove all the bad aftertaste. And there's only a small bad aftertaste. So you've got literally as many barrels of...
And is there any, like, dried... I mean, I assume that would be dried foods, because it's...
There are only a few that are good that are left. And they are basically the most native fruits from this coastal area. You look at a pile, a whole corner kitchen desk of fruits from the edge of Adrin and from the edge of Isora, from Cambria, and all of it has been like, it was kept in perfect condition up until 3 weeks ago. And because this was supposed to be a long storage food, it is like spoiled completely. So a bunch of fresh berries, a bunch of fresh, you get kind of, it's smaller than a lemon, but it tastes a lot like a lemon. They're like tiny fruits that are about this, but we actually have a similar type of thing in Australia. They're like tree berries. You see is a larger amount of foraged natural fruits, which seem, at least most of them from what you're looking at, don't have a bad smell and seem to be edible for sure. So I would say you get, so 60 pounds of weight in water per, 60 pounds of water, isn't that like, that's actually 1.5. It's about 110 kilos for a barrel of water, plus, I'm going to say 3 kilos of food.
Okay.
3 kilos of fresh berries, and that would be put in a much smaller hand-sized barrel, like you're talking about.
So Grok will be holding those two and pushing the barrel. And then Grok will go to the forge and just pick up some old forging hammer, so he has something to craft stuff with.
Okay. You roll me a perception check. It's not going to be hard, but there's stuff tossed everywhere.
That's 15.
15. Okay. Yes. You pick up basically like the first essentials of a tinkering and forging set. You already had the box before. Now you've actually got the real tools to help with the large iron prongs.
13. Do I pass by the point where we bought them, like when I had originally?
No, that would be upstairs now. Grok came down faster than you could go up because he was already kind of downstairs. But you see what looks like a large tunnel, 15 foot wide, not made by normal, and you can see the metal has been bent up and a lot of it has obviously been consumed. But you can then see an area which you walk beneath where it's just a hole in the roof, 15 foot wide, where this thing has just gone up and then out, and you can see that's where the forge is. That's how Grok was so easy, and then Grok, with your natural 20, you actually notice that it seems to be on the upper edge. You have to look at it. You have to look up at the very top of the forge. One story above you, there's something you recognize. Yeah, at first you only see it because it just looks like a 12-inch iron bar lined with small plates of metal spikes. And then you realize Jonathan Patrick's favorite tool, the one he would never give you. It looks almost just like a tiny barred baseball bat. Oh, it's a barbed baseball bat. Metal stick.
Can Grok easily grab it? Or
You have to climb up one story to get it, but yes, you could do it. I'm not even going to make you roll for it. We can just say that over that. And because you rolled a natural 20.
So you,
I think fast was a little bit helpful.
Grok poof, jumps back down from the top floor, and you guys begin to your way back through. Continue.
Good friend of mine. This was his favorite tool. I wouldn't let go of it.
It's the only reason he kept up.
They're all good friends. I've known them for a long time. We all don't live too long. That long version that I'm on off soon.
did you kill the creature?
I sure hope I did. But I honestly don't know about these things.
You walk under the area where you can see a massive orcish gorilla body. Half of its body looks like it's now covered in what you saw the whole time. It was covered in plates that seem to be molded from shoulder blades, but seem to jut out like giant clamshells, forming armor bits on his body. This orc flesh remolded into orc armor. You walk beneath him as his body ripped in half, head split open, all of this disturbing wounds that you guys carved through this orc monstrosity.
Yes, us, all of us.
All of us, yeah. I don't know.
I'm gonna
just working.
But he's in the place where he died?
He's above you. You walk beneath another hole where there is, visibly this orc body that is just half hanging up.
Climb up there?
Yeah.
Yeah, climb up.
You can even climb. You feel his body is actually welded to the thing he's hanging off of.
I'm gonna ignore that and then go up the next level.
Okay.
So where my arrows spilled out of my quiver.
Okay. Very close to that. Half of them are at the foot of this massive gorilla, which, by the way, you notice his foot is a hand. The other foot is gone. So, and yeah, you collect. Roll me a d12.
7.
Good. 14 hours.
Epic. I'm stacked.
All right.
It'll take me
Some of them
a
are
minute to fire.
some of them
all
are penguin feathered arrows. You got it, baby. Some of them are your first edition arrows. Actually,
5 arrows.
they are Melion's last arrows, if you think about it.
Sure.
They are Melion's last penguin arrows. Okay. You hear above you a bunch of like a bunch of like scattering of what sound like small wooden poles, and you begin to walk.
After I dump this stuff, and we check on Moki's wounds and Guff's, and we have a food break.
Moki, you can now pick up on muttering far down the chamber, central chamber that you're.
First, I need to go pick up my engine, but I want to figure out what actually caused this explosion. I don't mind if you abandon me here, but
Just cut beside me, sitting on the ramp waiting for them.
Now, I forgot, this is the front of the ship, and Grok, your engine was dropped at the back of the ship, so we can spend 30 seconds and say that you all make your way very quickly to the front of the ship, and as you all meet up once more, what does Grok try to do? And what do you plan?
Grok is just walking down the ramp.
He's got another wheelbarrow, wooden wheelbarrow.
Yep. As it has a barrel of water and food. A bunch of other tools. As Grok plants it, he opens the barrel.
He just sits it beside you, doesn't say a thing.
He gets a cup out, starts pouring water out of it.
You just get you've got a bunch of canteens that you just tossed in with the car with you, so you've got a few water skins available
I'm
for
just
extra.
staring at whatever star or sun or sky is out there.
You look at the front of the ship straight back towards Krula.
Fuck that place.
And you know what's above that? The stars of Inerta. The bow and arrow facing down.
That brings a smile to my face, briefly, then it goes back to a frown.
Swallowed by darkness.
Grok passes a canteen to Melion, Guff, and Moki.
I'm so glad you're here, Grok. I felt as if you had been taken by the bang.
That's the reason why I left. Which saved me.
Butch was a fighter. You take a second.
What happened to your captain?
No. I honestly know less than Grok. Grok was much closer. Gulps down another big swig. Zeal was my brother. And when he left, he tried to swoop down and save some of the people that couldn't swim faster than the metal could. I didn't see him after that, but I did hear. He said the captain went under the metal. I don't know if he made it. He was a swimmer, less stealthy than I am in water, but he was a fighter. You see there is not much moisture left in this guy's body, but you can see his eyes are brimming with tears. We're not out of this yet, though. Grok, do you have a plan? Please.
Can you set up the foldable boat? Right, pass over.
It's a foldable boat. Everyone knows how to unfold a boat.
It's a box.
Elves, you know nothing.
I need to go get the,
My people have been here a lot longer than you. He starts to like bite at you without a voice because it's like completely cracked, and you just feel sorry for him the whole time he tries to insult your species. We used to be able to eat humanoids before we were told we couldn't.
Well, pirates.
You were very thin, boned.
Still do that if you wish.
We became civilized for a reason.
What do you eat now?
Berries,
You're vegetarians?
basically.
That's nice.
Occasionally I dabble in the Mediterranean
I'm
diet.
gonna go pick up the engine. And then I want to do a one last sweep before the ship in case I missed anything.
The engine? You're going to take that thing with us?
Of course I would.
It was half the reason that it was the... It just didn't finish.
It should suffice.
If the vibration technology still works, it shouldn't weigh much more than... you, Cicero. And you walk to the edge. Grok, you start to walk around. You're wearing boots, right?
Yes.
You're wearing boots. There is a small amount of metal in your boots. Some, like, fastening of the harnesses, small parts like that. That, once you're already walked the 200 meters to the where you heard that sound, the edge of your ship, you feel your boots are heavier. Did you ask for assistance? Or did you bring the barrel with you? Is that what you did?
Emptied out the wheelbarrow.
Okay.
Into the foldable ship, and then he
Take that with you. It's actually not the easiest to bring because most of these metal waves have been petrified, so it forms that irregular shape. You have to kind of use their waving tunnels to narrowly move through. But it's a small cart, so you do manage. By the time you get to the machine, you realize it's still vertical, but the only damage that seems to be visible is that the two vibration plates, I might say it too many times, the vibration plates are a little bit more indented towards the flatter side, so that it had a sharp protruding front, and that sharper front is dulled. You bring it down from its vertical position. This is, a 10-foot tall piece of metal. And even as you hold it, your hands shake. No matter how still you try to make them, your hands vibrate, touching the sides of its reinforced plating. You can accurately assess its HP remaining once you have better light, and once you kind of can pull apart at least one plate to see how the inside's going. But the fact that you're still hearing a very dull but functioning that means that the engine, while not connected to anything, is protecting itself, which was its primary purpose. So you begin to wheel it back. You guys have about 15 minutes both ways. You've got 30 minutes. Just Moki, do you help Meliorn assemble the boat?
I'll put the cart on there, and that's
Okay.
all I'll do.
Your hippo will actually be like, it's just you put these two buttons on either side of the cube together, press it with both of your hands, and then throw it out really far.
Yeah, you already did it, didn't you?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, he did it. Oh, yeah, okay. Well, there had to be someone to tie
The
it
hippo
down.
was hallucinating
couldn't
that
have
you
just
haven't done
and
it
run
yet,
away.
and is trying to instruct you how to do it, but you're holding a
Grok
barrel of
just
water.
throws it out and just go swim. Go swim with the boat. No.
The boat just immediately.
Just one, yeah.
I've got it, guys. Don't worry.
But this frame appears to be all wood, which is lucky because as it hits the edge of the bank, unlike the other cart with the crab boat with a little bit of reinforced metal plating, this one doesn't seem to stick to it. It bobs against it and doesn't hold itself. And slowly you begin to hear the tumbling sounds of wheels. And this sound of a rickety cart being moved by Grok grinding behind you.
Maybe what are you going to do with his body?
You look at, and as you're moving the cart with Cornell's body in it, you notice that on each of his hands and on each of his feeties, they are also covered in that metal. Just the inside of the hands and the top of the feet, visibly.
Are you going to sit in the field for 3 months and wait for the grass to grow again?
What?
That's what you told me your people do. Is it funeral, right?
Not in the ocean.
No, once we get back, at least.
We have time. I was like that. But need to see what place you're going to do it anyway.
Grok.
Maybe you might be having a chance.
Grok, you get back to this awkward, centaur looking down on Elf, and still side by side of them. You know, the cart has been loaded into the boat. The only thing that is left is for Grok's cart, and you hear the trembling behind you of the wheels.
Ignore it.
They don't look at you as you approach. Just a wave from inside of the boat as the. Oh god, I forgot. I almost said buffalo again. The hippo man. Because I said buffalo all last episode, like a moron.
Just think gun hipper, obviously.
How?
Well, that sucks, guys. I'm now here. I wasn't here before. That's okay. Hold the.
You're imagining it.
Hold this?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Just lightly. There you go.
There we go.
Perfect.
Yeah, what if we...
I'm retarded. We're back. This is what you pull out, and you recognize it from Guff.
This isn't what I was expecting, and I pounded fuck my own for. What?
Nice.
The moment the further out you pull your hand, the colder it starts to get. Like, the further in you put your hand, the closer you were getting to a source of warmth. That metal bar you grabbed wasn't the source. It was warm, but as you pull it out, you're feeling it get colder and colder and colder until you pull out the magical iron bar, which seemed to be completely absorbed, but not at all affected. Or at least the color, it's hard to tell.
Go with it further behind. Worthless.
Okay. Okay.
It was actually just reach in, try to just get something warm.
Okay. So the problem is that this does work, but your arm can only go in so far until the point where this is a 15-foot wide lower half, so you can stick your arm in like 4 feet, and then you're at shoulder, and you're still getting closer to the warmth. This warmth is probably 8-ish feet in. Like, you could grab it was a scope for a rifle. You could grab that and try and stick your arm even further in. You could probably get an extra foot with the scope. But it's not like you can really grab in. Maybe you could scrape it back. You've reached full shoulder. You could submerge. You can go in.
Pulls out the iron rope.
Unbirth yourself.
Okay.
Oh my god. And it can stay into hemp mode.
Yep.
Which Grok will... Oh, I know,
kind
it's irreversibly, it's stuck in iron form.
Yeah, it's iron form.
Okay.
It was twisted, and that, like, basically not... So it looks like a rope, but it's just... It has a iron-covered texture to it.
And Grok's going to try to pull it out with the iron rope.
It won't work, only because you need to... The functional way to use the iron rope in this would be to hold you out of it with the iron rope and to pull you into it, right? Yeah. Your body needs to basically go in roughly 10 feet to grab whatever that source of heat is. You actually felt like you might have nudged the heat further back in when you grabbed the first rod. Like somehow pulling out magic from it retracts it further away from you. You're not sure.
I mean, I might as well go chrome dip. Fuck you.
You serious? Yeah. You serious right now?
Grok will tie himself up with the rope, and he'll fucking...
So I'm going to say that retroactively you needed Meliorn to help you pull yourself back out, because all you know from this is that it adheres you to it.
Yeah.
Like you would get stuck in it because it's so thick. You're going to go swim.
Definitely not what.
You see, by the time you don't actually get out hearing Grok ask for any help, you just see that there is a rope attached to the sludge pile, and it's taut. And you can see Grok's left arm is holding the rope, and his whole right half of the face is in the sludge. It looks like he got sucked in. So this is a scene that happened 20 minutes back when I didn't have my face cam.
Casually approach them.
You casually approach, the rope is taut. Grok, make another perception check, and then make another disabled device check for me.
I'm blind. So, okay.
-2, that's it.
That's a 6.
No -2 for
9.
disabled device.
That's a 9.
9 total?
Higher than 10.
Okay.
Just dead.
So, here's something. Plus 2 plus 5. Plus 2 plus 3. Your level plus how much you put into it.
Plus 1 dex.
I have plus 0 dex.
Oh, okay.
Nothing.
Yeah, 0 dex.
That's cool.
There is a kind of... You feel your hand pass into a certain field where you're starting to realize that it's like sticking your hand into a mud and then feeling glass all around your hand. Except this glass is molten hot. And you're recognizing that this is probably the absorbed remnants of a gem of elemental fire that was crushed under Moki's foot and was subsequently swept up by this monster. And now that you feel your whole body has gone in, there are like little tiny shards pricking you with scorching levels of heat, like you're in mud and there's glass surrounding your arm. You reach in for it, and you reach past the glass. Your fingers getting minor cuts, and you reach past it, and you feel something. The shape is spherical. Again, you did feel that before, but as you put your fingers to it, you're grabbing the edge of a ball and it slips through, like you're grabbing, you just didn't have, you're gonna have to submerge your entire head. You're not gonna be two-faced, you're gonna be full-face. You failed again. So unless you're going in, you might not be getting it.
I'm too far in.
Is this a sludge pile?
Yeah, so the remnants of that massive hulking monster, it was like Saitama did a centered punch and just blew a hole. The upper half of it completely gone, and just the 10-foot lower half, which Grok's body is now entering.
And Grok is going further.
I can't do anything with it.
No, there's one arm that is outside. He's obviously holding the rope with that arm, and his whole body is now inside. Grok is faceless.
To explain what
You heard. That's it. Or both of you heard that. You.
It's getting crushed by the weight.
There is weight. Your whole body is now even heavier, for sure. Make a... Okay.
well, you're comic crazy.
You have a magical device check.
I do have a magical device.
Which one is there a use magical device,
Yes,
or...
that's a 4.
Which one is it? Which one... you've got... disable device,
wait,
which is
actually,
dexterity, and then you've got disabled magical device?
No, use magic.
My
Use
use
magical
of
device.
magical device is technically worse because I have -1 in charisma. Actually, no, wait, no, it's so much
No.
better. That's +5. That's good.
Okay, so using magical device, I will let you do that.
Okay. So I need to DC. Or whatever it is. Whatever you make it.
You've rolled more than a 10 every time, so...
I can't roll higher than a 2.
You rolled a 2?
Again. Yeah.
This place doesn't want you to have it. You...
I don't want you to have it either.
Yeah.
That's fine, I'll just kill
That 20 you got earlier, that was just to trick you to thinking you rolled good, you're not.
I rolled 3
He rolled, like, the highest he rolled was 9 on this check so far, so no, it's not worked out for him at all.
You're on 10.
There is...
Never mind, Grok never met the whole group, he died there.
You
I
did!
just see your arm disappear, like, well, please.
Grok died here. The end. You never saw him, you never figured out the bird.
You're gonna be Colossus. This changes the context of the entire.
Grok just becomes it.
Okay.
But as you're leaving the boat, Grok is now, metal. You do still manage to pull Grok out, because it's only after Femelion, 60 seconds of watching his body look stiff that you start to see his hand just shake. Like he doesn't have oxygen and there's something wrong. Pull. You see metal, like string cheese, just stretch away from his face, and then after that, you finally hear an inhale.
What the hell is wrong with you?
Grok's face is not green.
Not
Not green anymore. You have the
He has goggles.
You have
so
a
the eyes are
sunscreen.
unaffected.
You have
You can't see for his goggles.
you have a tan line on the glasses.
Grok
Yeah.
opens up his goggles. Right.
You've been brutally altered.
It's like you got tan,
Minus-
but you have like goggle marks where it's just completely green screen. Other metal.
You see the top of Grok's head is actually glowing with minor, it looks like little embers are stuck in his metal ball.
Does he have
Why
frosted
did
tips?
you do this? Why?
Oh, his whole body is covered in metal.
Hair, frosted tips.
He never had hair.
Oh.
No, it's like he's got fragments of glass stuck in his hair, except they're molten hot.
Oh god.
If I can figure out how to disable it, I can clean myself up.
Okay, never mind.
I can fix everything.
Alright, go back in.
Alright.
Felix does not want to go back in, but Grok does.
Goes back on.
You can fix everything you need to.
You're just
I
like
need you to do
you're
that.
just like extra. You swipe out the smudges of the glasses.
How is it?
I know to pull you out. I was just gonna leave it, but then
Right.
struggling.
God charges.
Maybe we could cut out. Okay.
Both arms. So now you had one arm that was green. Now there's no arms that are green. His whole
I have
body.
the rope.
Just got the rope,
Thing.
and it's taut again. Like you're not even sure how you're gonna pull this guy out of it without any
I
actual
pulled it out
limbs.
The first time.
He had a limb. He had a helping hand. Now he doesn't have that. My microphone. Sorry.
I can fix this.
You reach
You
in.
said the magic words. Get the fuck back in there, green boy.
I'm not going to.
No, have him roll.
I'm not gonna make you roll a perception check.
But it's funny.
You know, just for that, roll a use that for your perception check.
Okay, 4.
Cool. Cool. Now I want you to do another disabled device check.
There we go.
Really?
Yeah, I just didn't roll the metal dice.
What, 12?
In the metal blob, you didn't roll the metal dice.
Yep.
Now you have to roll it forever. There's no green left.
I read the green one for this one. The green eyes still stay. Yeah, that is plus
1?
1 plus 3, so that's 4. So that's 23.
23. Your DC was
You
20.
did.
I rolled 19. Yay.
It's not like.
Wow. She's jealousy much.
Yes.
Yes.
Roll that
Yes.
sometimes. Royalty, you deserve it. Fucking bitch.
You see Grok's body like a clutching babe. A rope attached around his stomach as the entire mass of remaining flesh that seems to just have like hardened, even though Grok could walk into it like mud that hadn't lost its form. It just becomes liquid.
I throw myself backwards out of the way.
Just turning into liquid fast. And Moki, you at the edge of the shore where you were just sitting, you watch as the metal that had started to climb up the ramp leaks back down towards the bank.
Does the metal island start?
The metal island still stays, seemingly.
Okay.
And you, as Grok, what you're holding, it's something. It was spherical. Now you hold in your hand a cube. And you see, you know, Melion, you're now like propped up on a large piece of like iron. You're just like above. You need to be off this liquid floor.
Backflipped out of the way,
Yeah.
shoved up the wall.
You're noticing, and Grok also notices that in front of you, you take off your goggles again, and you're holding this black metal box. Ironically, I designed this long before Nick released his. They're not equivalent.
My box doesn't have black.
Can you decipher magic just by looking at it? Is that a thing? No, there's not. It's the detect magic spell.
Which is a cantrip. So,
That's to detect what school it is, right?
yeah, it detects what school and what effect it does, and then you
It's
can
just
then
spellcraft.
use a spellcraft check
Cool.
to identify it.
Okay, so not even bothering to do the identify. One, you find something beside you, which you've seen before, but you now realize it was obviously absorbed into it. It's a muzzle. It's a muzzle used and was used in the process of caging many of the things you would put into prison. It is actually meant for a large size mouth and fits Moki even more perfectly than it would, you know, Melion.
Perfect for now.
That too, definitely.
He's dead.
So not perfect for now at all.
Doesn't actually, Grok doesn't even know that yet.
Think that at all.
Giant smashed open neck hole with the spine sticking out the top.
So you flare a little bit of your magic, which you now realize is emanating like ripples instead of color, like ripples, vibration ripples, instead of you were seeing like an active like spurt of color. Now it's just a kind of wave formation out of your hand. Studying what is in your hand, it seems to like resonate with vibrations. As you exit via the boat, canonically back to that moment, back out to sea.
You're disgusting. I don't know what.
You realize that it's not even like it's not even a minute after you are now having to force your way out of this magnetic pull that the boat still seems to have pulling towards it. It's less than it was before, so it's actually more comfortable to leave. Entering it was actually quite fast. It would just pull you in. You notice that it's actually sunset.
Set.
The sky to your east, in the direction you actually want to move, sorry, to your west, is glowing. And yet it was glowing right as you arrived as well.
Oh.
But like it was glowing, and when you arrived it was black. It was dark. There was no setting of sun when you arrived. It was 1 a.m. in the morning. Now it looks like roughly 10, maybe like 10 to 6 p.m.
Do we go back in time?
I have no clue.
It seems like you literally blinked and it was black on that ship, and 1 minute out of that ship, you blink and it's slightly more colorful in the sky. And like a day's already passed and you didn't notice.
Well, I'm on the foldable boat. What happened to me?
You're on the foldable boat with him. Grok is just covered in metal now. That is the only difference.
40 minutes. What's the birthday on Liam? I have to move.
Right, I haven't really spent time looking at it because I make sure everything else is working.
I mean, you've got like a small lantern on this boat. It's nice, it's comfortable, and I think there's a few assessments we can all talk to about each other, and that is that Melion has started to grow webs on his ears, like a gill ear thing, like a webbing ear. Looks really weird. Moki's just his hooves, just the chitinous part of the bone of his hoof, that's completely metal. Keratin, thank you. Grok is completely metal. And Cornell is like a half-half.
Cornell's dead.
So you've been kissed by metal, you've only stepped on metal.
In my arm.
And hugged by metal.
Yeah.
He is enwrapped in metal, and Cornell has been fucked by metal.
Except for the eyes. The eyes.
So yeah, you've got the 10 mark.
Go great.
I don't go fuck by Grok.
You actually notice that while Grok isn't using the goggles, those little metal veins are like creeping inwards. Cutting off the source. Grok's like, I can't see now. Smudge.
You just like get a chisel and scrape the metal out of your other lenses.
Hey, there's options. We can try.
Otherwise you're screwed.
No. Just give me a moment. Actually, it's an iron bar. Never mind. I can't use it.
I mean, you could technically make like a... Yeah.
Quick, look at the roll on my items to see if any of them are useful.
All iron.
Nope.
Fist.
Oh.
Grok is going to try to identify the cube so he can try and fix this.
I'm just gonna make Cornell look more comfortable.
It'll take me a day to get identify spells, so I just need to try it in YOLO and see if I get the roll.
Alright.
So that's a spellcraft check.
Change, you're not sure. Your studies of this say that the outside appears to be a lot more transmutative. The inside is black.
Okay. Would this be considered a technology?
By time you spend a good 6 hours, 8 hours studying it, you realize it's not technology.
Okay.
But in a way, you believe. Make a history or planes check. 2 different rolls, 2 different answers.
Okay. I am good at both of them.
Planes is actually a lower DC.
I'm good at both of them at the same level. So they're both +8, so I can just roll for once if you want me to.
You choose whichever specific.
I can do planes, I guess.
Okay, because you're rolling bad.
It doesn't change anything. They're both the same. But +8, so that's 26.
That's really good. I thought you rolled bad.
Oh, sorry, 16. Sorry. Fuck, never mind.
16. Okay, well,
I was like, wait a minute. Fucking, that's wrong.
the I'm gonna say that
Oh, sorry, 17.
17.
Yes, okay.
There's something you can do with your tool, which can be kind of like forming it into a tuning fork. Jonathan Patrick's tool. One he would use braggadociously to describe his understanding of all metals. He could tap a metal with his small rod, which could form into a prong.
Small but thick rod.
And understand the frequency of the metal using vibration, which this whole ship functioned on.
This rod vibrates.
As you tap it,
Patrick was a satisfied man.
Jonathan Patrick is now satisfied in the heavens using this device.
He's got his vibrating rod and he's using it for
In the fact that it's kind of one of those interesting. There's an element of something in this. It has all the resonance of iron, but it doesn't actually resonate like metal does in this plane.
It's attuned to the cancer dimension. Where you get cancer.
So all you can really tell is that space metal. I mean, as Grok, you're studying this thing. You have no idea how an orc that you saw that appeared to be not a arcane caster. It appeared like this orc was a messenger / a scout / a recovery operation of something. You remember it was Keter based, like it's sanctuary sanctified, but it is. But you were like, if this puzzles your understanding of the arcane, how did he activate it? When clearly that he didn't have the understanding that you do.
No difference.
I need to wait for tomorrow. So I can cast the identify spell.
But
I just hope I don't die before it infects me completely.
Well, as the sun rises and the day has come, you've realized that Melion's webbed ears haven't grown anymore. You get Melion to check the veins under your eyes, Grok, and they also, in daylight, haven't moved.
how nice.
Oh, so the sun is blocking it.
What?
It's slowing the growth of the metal.
That's strange.
Grok, you're definitely the only thing that nothing wrong with you particularly. Your constitution is, your fortitude is very high. You just feel like your whole body is run over with a fever. Your body is unnaturally hot, but it's a bare level of uncomfortability to you, and to living and existing on a wooden boat that is not comfortable at all. This kind of added level of heat during a day makes you.
This is metal bird, isn't it?
No, it's all wood.
Oh.
All wood. Otherwise, there would be problems. By the rear half of the first full day on the coast, you guys are more than visible distance to a shoreline on the other side of where you had,
Other side of the lake.
Other side. So this would be the western side. You can see the cliffs have been there for the whole time, but you are probably a day of journeying, just one more across, or half a day roughly, if you're going at full pace, and you'll make coast. But it's not necessarily, it's not the, if you're aiming for the river, you haven't hit that yet. What do you guys want to do?
Stopping at the land.
Yes.
You hear a slow release as
How much food did you get?
as the hippo releases. Sorry.
How much food did you get?
Enough
You
for
make a
3
quote or
days.
poop jokes. Yep.
I didn't say defecate though. The berries are a real mix of what we would call native, for Australian, it's like a native honey taste. It's very citrusy, very apple.
There's a barrel
taste.
of Vegemite.
Then there's just the barrel of Vegemite.
That's what
All, yeah. The Aarakocras just eat tar. That's covered in
Vegemite does not
salt.
go bad. I've had Vegemite my first 3 years and it's still good.
That's because it's poison.
Well, kind of.
Delicious poison. That's fine.
Yeah, put it on buttered toast and it's delicious.
Yeah, the jar like a fucking savage.
You only do that if you're sad. And you
Your hippo friend, except for shitting twice over the entire trip, he just sleeps the whole time. He's so exhausted. You can see this guy like doesn't even wake to all of your arguing, everything.
I've never shit.
Never shit. You don't. Melion doesn't shit.
I haven't
Moki,
talked much in the entire journey.
Haven't
and
talked
I've
much.
Made sure
Your bowels talk for you.
Stop, no.
And Grok, you actually don't even feel a need to defecate when you normally would.
The metal went up your anus.
It did.
Inside of your...
Wait, did we get a full long rest?
You got an iron
Oh yeah. You've had technically a full
Right,
day.
we get 3 hit points.
A full day at sea. You're not even sleeping,
you get double.
really.
Oh,
You get double.
Oh,
You have a parry up.
wait, is the permanent damage?
I have 4 hit
Permanent?
points now.
Yeah. Is that long rest or is that forever?
Oh, the damage?
Forever.
The permanent damage.
No, it is permanent. Oh, sorry. It is temporary.
permanent?
It is temporary. But for Grok, the only difference is now I need you to make. You're actually suffering the same thing that Melion has.
Yep.
Just being covered in metal. Get this up. Here it is.
Some of these I think that has, which is non-existent.
Fortitude, I believe. Oh, sorry. 1 sec. Next. Yeah, Fortitude save. DC 16.
Oh, 17.
Very nice.
Wait, what?
Melion, of the last 3 hours of that night, you lost 3 of the first night, which was technically like it was sunset and then it rose. So you had a whole kind of transition period where your ears became kind of webbed. You have -3 to your intelligence and charisma.
Oh,
Melion, I want you to just roll me overnight a D100, if you can. This is for this next night. The first night of trauma. Oh, 5. Yeah.
At the end of the first night,
Never rolled that low before.
Grok will, in like half delirious.
Mm.
Okay. If I start to turn and go a bit crazy,
I'll kill you.
please kill me.
Brock, I blame you for his death.
I don't say anything else.
Alright. Grok, you just sit in silence. You're luckily right beside you, comforting by his own body warmth, but not really since you're already so hot. The I was going to say buffalo goat. The hippopotamus just sleeps passively beside you, not even aware. And in that kind of state, you two can kind of find the sleep together, knowing that at least he is a companion, where the other two appear not to be anymore. But Melion,
This word, but yeah.
I even wrote Melion. It's not to be.
Disgusting.
Whatever name you go by when you're not awake, you have a dream. You're in a cabin. It's pretty big, but spacey only that it is a big one-room place. To the far right corner, back right corner, there is a unlit hearth, where the rest of the surroundings seems to be wood. This is a brick hearth, and there is a single chair in front of it with a large, cloaked, hunched form. You see the cloaked, hunched form. Its back is to you, and its head seems to extend out like an arm from a neck and curve to the left, towards the left side of the room, where you can see that there is an exit, a door, but it is barricaded by a bunch of wooden pieces of something that has been destroyed, probably furniture. Things that, from the corner of your eye, are best left unviewed. But amongst that pile is a large mirror, broken, much like the one in the temple. And you see as that head bends towards the mirror, it looks in its reflection, and you only see the hundreds of reflections, the cracked reflections of a shadow covered in a veil. You see hands from every crack on that mirror, made of bone. At first it's 5 hands, then it's 10. And then it's an upper half. It's a head and a torso that seems to be pulled out by these 10 hands. It's like a hyena skull with an orange gem embedded in the top. Skeletal upper half. You recognize it, but not in the one you thought, the one you've seen in this dream before. You see as all of these hands help push out this upper half torso. You hear from the shawl, the large cloaked figure in this dream, of which her back is faced to you. Can't you see? I'm in mourning, Wrath. Why do you bother me? I know you said I said we should give it time. But your sister wanted to be absorbed. You foretold her new form. Wrath. The time to feel sorrow will come. But do not speak another word of it. For when we last saw that child, it caught me by surprise. I don't like surprises. As the shawl and the head, it looks like a craning neck, like there is a neck that's 3 times as long as it should be, and it seems to bend backwards towards you. You said you moved back a little bit, but you feel like you did. You just moved. You feel yourself like pull. It's like forward and backwards. And as it looks, make a sense motive or perception.
Perception, much better. 24.
It stares at you. You almost see for a moment it like seems to stare through you. Like it's just looking in your direction, but you swear it looks at you. And then the fire behind her, as she looks through you over her shoulder, you see green flame crawl up the wall between every vein of rock that is embedded into the side of this wall. And then you see there's flashes, white feathers, the scarred face of a bird person. You see the small owl beak, the large black pupils, but half of the owl's face, it looks severely burned, covered in half of its face, scar tissue. And even as this, you now see under that veil, as it looks at you, black eyes, socketless, ears matted in blood, but you don't see ears, and 2 crooked teeth with like a half-chewed centipede that slips back into her mouth. And even as she looks through you, she doesn't say another word. Yeah. The last thing you hear before you wake up to the rocking of the boat is, "She said he would be here." There's no golden feel, there's no warmth. The cold wind. She rolled a 26 bluff. Just couldn't give you it.
What a loser. That's better, it was even worse.
That's okay. You look as Grok and Moki are intentionally now looking away from each other, but also looking in the same direction, towards the coast. It's kind of that awkward, opposite side of the barge stare.
Well, I'm sure you will all be very happy to know that the giant green woman's sister is dead. I had another premonition.
Your dreams, they're weird.
Oh, not dreams. He was absorbed, apparently.
Brock's gonna pick up the dragon embryo egg
Mm.
and start looking at it.
You pick it. It's in a thick sack.
His clothes.
Cornell basically made like an incubating sack, and so you grab it out, and you realize the moment you like look into the sack, you go to reach for it. The inside of the sack is like a molten orange color, like glowing. And as you like actually peer into it, you see that entire embryo is like molten colors, like it's glowing bright orange. Where before it was like a blue and a dull orange, now it is just a kind of bright glowing fetus entombed in a see-through egg. You reach for it and your hand is already hot, but you feel there's an actual presence of even hotter sweltering heat in the bag. It's like it's self-containing, its own incubating.
That bird person, do I remember seeing him in the first night in the ship?
Yeah, kind of. But
Is it similar?
you never actually saw that bird person's face. You only ever saw like his like wings outstretched from high above. The feathers looked a little grayer. It could be. There was
Also in my vision, I saw like a bird person coming out of the fire.
seal.
Yeah, he did remind me of that.
Survivors.
Kind of like down face.
Where did you see him?
In my mind, in the cabin,
The premonition.
probably.
What is wrong with you?
I do not know.
You hear
It's a lie.
under your boat, because no one's actually watching the sails. No one's watching the path you go, and you realize that the underside, Grok actually was keeping a decent eye, but the things you couldn't have paid a close enough attention to unless you're constantly watching is what's under the water. You hear small amounts of, not puncturing sounds, but spraining of wood, fracturing minorly, and you see, just as you're like 50 feet away from the beach, the bottom back half of your ship where the small cabin's quarter is, where a guy would stand and hold the boat wheel, that is starting to leak. So the back half is just starting to leak as you're 50 feet away from the beach. You
How did we not notice that?
You docked. You dock. It is hard gravel. It is grey with small specks of like a cream color stone. And for the first time, the boat gains gravity and just tips. Just all of the weight on it starts to lean it into a sideways angle. Moki, you are almost rolled off of the boat, but you get your legs back, even though they're not meant for the sea. You step.
In their check?
No check. You dismount the boat. Only because you drove it into shore. That's the only,
Yes, I did it.
Yes. The fact that you did it did mean that there was a, no. So, your boat had taken 5 points of damage out of its probably 60 or 70 hit points. Not enough to easily repairable, maybe not from you because you're a wood wizard, or it'll just take double the amount of energy, but nothing else.
Take out the box. So Grip will take out the box and he'll say the command word, which will then, the boat will immediately fold up.
The top of it kind of rears upwards like a front of a horse, and then it collapses inwards and rolls and rolls and forms and forms. And now you've got 2 boxes, one made of wood, one black. Okay. So you're at shore, and here is my only question before we go on break. Inland or on shore?
Grok is going to stay on the shore for a bit longer, but
You're welcome to obviously take a rest on the shore. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say, even for Grok, knowing that shores aren't necessarily the safest place. Like, there are inland crocodiles, there's everything here.
Are we above the Severed Tropics or below the Severed Tropics?
You're below. Or the Severed Tropics are literally right here, but you're on the other side of, you're on the southern side of that.
the goal was to land there. So we can...
You wanted to land above the Severed Tropics.
Good, because...
No, just,
Yeah.
As close to it as
As close to as
I'll show
possible.
the map. We're landing.
Yeah, I see. Left side. There.
We're landing here, and we're just gonna walk over.
Yeah, that's
Nice.
what you.
Okay.
So you see ahead of you the water in a decent
sure.
distance curves, but
I don't want to go in there. There's bad memories there.
so Grok is setting up a type of metal reinforced kind of. Are you camping out? I would say it's midday-ish. It's not late evening. It's like just you're coasted into your second day.
And the ship immediately folds into itself. We're gonna catch all the stuff that's full.
Yeah, I kind of assumed that's the hardest
I'll
part.
bring all the stuff to the
I
shore.
do see you like
Rotara and Cordell.
Moki has a cart in one hand and then has Grok's baby cart in the barrel in another, and you see Cordell's body is just like face dived into the gravel, just like 30 feet away. Just
Yeah, let's do
everything else got everything else, but
If it weighs more than 2 tons, I'm gonna rage, and then I can carry 4 tons.
for 4 rounds, right? Oh no, you've got a full day. You've
Full
had the
day,
day's recovery.
14. I don't want to do. Yeah,
Okay.
Honestly, I'll do that. Get
So
my heal.
you take a minute to rest on the shore of the gravel beach. There is no sand, so insulation is worse here. It's a lot colder, and do you take a rest, or do you just start to move?
We'll take a rest, and Grok is going to just gauge if we've lost any items.
Okay.
Right, everything's checked, and how much food we have, and how much water, and how long.
How much food? I would say that you basically got foraged berries, 1 barrel of that.
Yeah.
It was 3 kilos. I'd say it was more than enough for 4 people that you've got, and Moki's kind of like 4.5. I'd say you've only gone through like 2/3 of that barrel in 2 days. It's like a lot of berries to feed a lot of people, like, you know. And so you're actually still quite famished, Moki. You've had no source of protein for the last 9 days.
We're staying here for a day or two to get our bearings.
Grok
Or
cracks the berry can open. Open invitation.
Would be a good idea.
yeah. Also, we're not heading to all the rest, are we?
Yeah, we were, because I have a home there.
You can just go then, and we'll stay here.
I don't know where we're going.
The only reason he decided to go this way is because I have a home in All's Rest.
I'm not going to all the rest.
I thought you wanted to of Cornell.
Caligula Valley.
Oh.
We can go
It's
around.
dangerous there, but at least it's
Alright.
It's
There's
far
something-
worse than All's Rest.
There's something wrong with All's Rest.
to some maybe.
Right.
Something happened to you in All's Rest?
Yeah.
Care to elaborate?
Oh, there's a lot of things that could happen to someone like him.
I grab Brandon's crossbar and some bolts. I'm going to go kill some food.
Alright. I think I'm gonna.
I'll join. I'll separate from you so you can sneak and whatever.
I'm just gonna sit here. And so, with Grok, the Guff stays.
Make sure
And-
nothing eats Cornell.
Right, over the day, I'm just gonna check my poisoning skin. Check its validity. Is it solid in any way?
You got.
It would have been on top of something.
I'd say
Also
that.
the crossbow.
I'd say the major I'd say the major supplies are okay. I'd say there'd be 1 broken glass, like you'd assume with this type of like rough travel. So it's not. But on Cornell's person, there was 2 jugs of a similar type of alchemical bottle.
Technically,
difference.
broken glass is poison. You put it down someone's throat, they're gonna bleed.
True. You could make shavings of the glass and put it into any
Technically, a sword
water.
is poisonous. If you stab someone through the chest, they'll die from
It's
it.
brutal.
Yeah.
That's,
And then it tells you its magical properties. Is the last.
so far, it's that you can see of its magical properties completely inert. But that seems to just be the fact that whatever this box is, what's clearly magical is inside of it. What you read and what magical signature you get from this box is completely the form of transmutation, but that's lapped over by this curse metal. There is a minor amount of abjuration magic. It's preventing you from understanding what actual signature of that black smudge is inside. And like you're like, it's a black smudge, sure, but that sphere of blackness that is constantly vibrating or oscillating in that box, that's what it's stopping. The box is stopping you from looking at what's not looking, understanding, connecting to what's inside. There's a boundary between the outside and the inside. Your planes check wasn't great, so the only thing I can tell you is that there has been one other releasing of this metal, which was roughly, and you only know this because you were on the side where Brandgate, a place called Brandgate, 600 years ago, there was an event called the War of the Ceiling. 568 to 691, and there was so much chaos coming from inland that the elves were pushed back, that the humans once thought the Brandgate was dominable, and then they realized it wasn't. This alien metal has only been... You might be correlating two different types of metal, but the metal that the orcs were obsessed with was also an alien metal. Could be different. But the orcs, and the reason you got told that the orcs were obsessed with this metal was because when the Duergar found them, the Duergar that lived in Blackstone, they had the same metal, or it was told that it was the same metal, but much older, which was metal not of this plane. And so for this whole continent, the only place that was ever heard of having alien metal was Brandgate or Blackstones. You can either head back towards Caligula Valley, that southern direction, or you could head, because if
I'll go south.
you go south, okay. Because otherwise it's the river.
Yeah.
Monkey, make me a perception check.
Yes. 18.
Okay. You get far enough away that even a part of what you're hearing around you, the ambient animal life, changes. There's even less sounds, less chirping, more scuttering. And then there is this quiet, but the more south you begin to go, this kind of quiet, echoing.
Initially, you would have thought that'd be a wolf call. Going on this long, something larger. Not just animal.
It doesn't stop. You enter a bend, and that sound becomes aggressive. Not its proximity, but its consistency.
Can I try and figure out which direction it's coming from?
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Survival? Probably.
Probably just perception.
Oh, yeah, that works as well. So that's cocked.
Yes, it's cocked. Oh.
Do you?
No, that's not cocked then. If it can hold a die.
Okay, cool. 25.
There you go. Holding the good roll. Cool. Okay. You are basically mid-daylight, so it's kind of a shock to you that, like Melion, you look up, and it's kind of like a pretty steep incline towards the cliffs, what is called the Shattered Teeth. A set of mountains, a ridge that surrounds Oars Rest and surrounds Caligula Valley and is at the edge of Kings Bay. But you see halfway up, kind of like a mountain goat, except it's just black. Like, you see the outline of a creature. And it's maybe 150 feet up towards a cliff. But it's not moving. And it's like a mountain goat, just like stuck against the high areas of a cliff wall. Thin, long, black body.
Like feline, canine.
It looks like something thickness. And you're looking now up at it from a below angle, looking at its butt. Except this thing is shadow. It's so thin that it almost just looks like a shadow on the mountain wall. Like, even as you're beneath it and you're looking up at it, you can't see the difference between both of its legs.
Not running?
It's still. But it is making, or at least it was making a sound. Now that you're getting closer to it, it isn't the sound. There's a sound curving around another part of the mountain that you're on, back behind it. So now it's not making sound. It just looks like a shadow pressed to the edge of this cliff, and you're hearing behind a mountain sound brought by wind. Just quiet.
Climb up to the shadow.
You can't get there.
No?
Not footholds strong enough, and you could. Your body is weighty enough, but
I get it. Yeah.
what is your climb bonus?
9. It's my highest one.
You could probably make this with a 25 roll if you want to give it a go.
I'll attempt it, but first time I encounter like a dangerous step or like I feel like I'm about to slip, I'll stop.
Well, this is one of those, you don't know if you're the predator or the prey.
I don't make it. 18.
Always the predator.
You find like 3 good footholds to start to like build that momentum to climb, and it cuts off a lot faster than you were expecting. But by time you're now, because you're using the edge of the cliff like a goat would, like a mountain goat would, and starting to kind of like leap up, climb at a horizontal angle, you look up and you were directly beneath it before. Now it's where it would be directly behind you adjacently, it's gone. Shadow. There's no shadow there. I'm definitely going to be skipping over a bit of this, but you didn't do that well. And this creature
pushes me down.
This creature lunges at you from even higher up and just it is the ghoul demon thin lined body of the shadows that you fought leaving Cruella the first.
Oh shit.
It's all the way this far down south.
Do I have anything I can do before it hits me?
You crush it. You fucking kill it.
Oh, okay.
It has like 39 hit points. Like, it can survive 2 rounds.
4 times.
I'll say I use like 2 rounds of rage as well since I'm like low
Thank you.
health.
And I would definitely say it took maybe, I'm gonna roll D10. It took 8 hit points.
Of me?
Mm-hmm.
Off me? Okay.
And they're poison technically, so it's another barb. As you strike it, every time you strike it, it wounds you. And so it's more about the fact that no matter how you're hitting this thing, its carapace manages to kind of bat your wounds against you. So you bring back, we'll get to Cicero in a second, you bring back the kind of, you'd cooked up parts of this creature before, it wasn't very good. It's a demon kin. It's some sort of demon dog monster, purely like black, almost obsidian black. It's almost reflective, glass-like. But even as you crush its head, you sever its neck, you're realizing that there is thin amounts of flesh. It's just lean meat, which works.
Yeah, good enough.
Melion. I haven't said Cicero before. You're walking, and the forest is quite calm. So that's comforting, I guess. There are cliffs quite, a good 200 feet away that begin to kind of elevate at that 200-foot point. You're in a nice stretch of relatively even forest. And it's kind of how you notice moving in for about 5-ish minutes into the forest that there is an area past this first section of forest. It's kind of a clearing, although the trees look a lot more shriveled, wilted. There's a house fort It's just the upper half of a tower and the lower half of a wooden, simple cottage-like building, but like with a tall brick guard post tower attached to the top of it. No one at the top, no. But it is kind of like a large, it seems like a plateau platform where you would see people up top, because you can see that there's, it looks like definitely probably man-made. It looks like a bonfire that is not lit. Like all logs slotted in place. Like at the top of this tower, of this one hut house, it's only 40 feet long. There is a place where it could be lit to send warnings, maybe, but it's deep forest. It is slightly up on an elevated hill, but okay. You move until you reach the edge of where the forest line is the thickest, and it becomes you're kind of reaching the edge of where the mountain range starts to build back up. You get a large couple rises and rises and small cliffs that kind of end abruptly, and you have to kind of jump down elegantly or move around. By the time you get close enough, you notice that there is someone at the front. You didn't actually notice that there was a door there. You couldn't see it that clearly, but you're noticing that where the edge of the cliff is, that's the front of this house. It's the front of this house is positioned to look down the hill, and the tower is obviously positioned to look up and around. But you can see at the front of that hut there is something like a large. It almost looks like a winter's outfit. Many layers of padding cover a heavily rugged, grayish-brown cloaked individual. You see he's got a mask on. It's like it's reminiscent of the skeleton forms you'd seen before, because it is kind of like a raven mask. It is not made of bone though. It seems like it's leather made, pointing into a very natural kind of bird peak. A plague mask is the only defining feature you see on this hooded figure at all, and it just directly stares into the forest at you.
Just standing in the doorway?
Standing in the doorway. And the door is obviously closed. It is actually out the door, just looking down the hill in your direction, and doesn't seem to be saying a word. You hear it's distorted, like he's wearing a mask made of leather. There are some strange versions of vibrations echoing through the mask. The injured, in a tone I'll amplify. The injured are welcome here, and curses are welcome here. Do you need help?
Yes, probably. I think I am turning into metal. I shout from very far away. And I mean, you're hearing him kind of muffled. You mean to walk. Will you tell me your name, stranger?
And as you approach, the smell you get, even from a decent distance, cloaked in many layers of clothes, all smell like they've been pulled from the sleeping grounds of a dead rodent. The smell, potent of decay, clings to his clothes, but his arms extend forward and they look to be human hands, or at least pale, five-fingered hands with a cup of what looks like some sort of hot liquid. I can... Do let me do my only job here. And his hands just hold out the hot cup. I mean, it'd be weird if he drunk it and then gave it to you, but he's holding it out like he's expecting you.
Yeah, we'll probably get to know each other a little better first.
Do you have an injured one who cannot walk? I have a place it can rest. A bed.
No, I think all of us can walk. I mean, we have injured, yes. Not incapacitated.
I have some supplies, medically, but I also know a lot about curses.
Yeah. What do you know about that big metal island on the ship out in Purple Lake?
I noticed just 3 weeks ago, I was warned. A creature flew to me. It was wounded. He looks down without the cup of tea in his hand. I think I know what is wrong with you. The metal. It grows across skin, absorbing iron.
I think it's inside of me too.
I could not help the one who came to me weeks ago, but I do know somewhere that can. You will need to bring them here. It is your choice. And then he just opens the door and goes back inside. Door closes.
Wow, how rude.
You've still got the cup of tea. It is. It smells kind of like kind of lemony.
Just gonna leave it on the floor next to the door. Is there like a window in his house?
There are shutters, and 2 seem to be open, like
Gonna look inside.
around the
Make
side.
sure it's fucked.
You see, it's not particularly long. There looks to be a small round table, a few chairs, what looks to be some sort of like a. You could smell like a pretty strong smelling goat cheese, and you can see some bread on the table. There's some sort of wooden jug next to it, but so there's obviously things in this house. I think you could even tell that there is, at the very far back, because you're looking at it from an angle, you can see that there is a bed, although it's kind of separated by a wall lining. So there's some separation between the bed and the rest of this. It's just kind of one long room with a kind of a semi-wall put in place to let the bed stay behind that. And then there's obviously a ladder that goes up to this second floor, which then attaches to a guard outpost, seemingly.
Gotta get a good setup. Kill him and take it. I'm gonna turn around and we'll go back.
Okay.
Okay. See my tracks on the floor and be like.
See your tracks. And you see a massive, like, other track, just kind of like half. Although you're also noticing that your feet are marked on the ground with that metal. Like there's metal puddles. The bottom of the metal studs on the bottom of your boots are quite coated, but you also see there's a much larger body of drag, like dragged through the dirt here and through your former tracks. By the time you arrive, you've probably only been gone for 30 or so minutes, just on that track there and back. You see Moki. What are you doing? Melion is by himself and arriving with nothing. Cicero, what do you do to that demon dog?
I probably removed all the spine because
Ripping things out.
got rid of all the stuff that's inedible and just sort of simplifying, roasting whatever is edible.
There really isn't that much, but it's enough for one night meal. That's it.
Perfect.
You rolled real bad. But that's okay. And not rolled real bad, you chose.
That chose the wrong thing to kill.
Chose the wrong.
I look at Cicero and he comes back with nothing and go, "You suck at hunting."
I found the hut.
Oh.
With a man.
Be nice.
Yes. He offered me tea. He said he is an expert in healing and curses. And we should bring the injured one.
Cornell?
I guess.
No, Cornell.
Cornell is dead.
Dead is just the worst thing of injured.
Sure. Yeah, we can bring Cornell to him, I guess.
Oh, you're saying that there's someone out there that could help us.
Yeah.
That is a relief. You see, there's a little bit of color returning to the hippopotamus.
I was going to ask him what day
Thank
it
you.
was.
Doesn't even
and
look at
where
what it
we
is.
are, but
One half is
I'm
just
distracted.
black skin. The other half looks like meat. And you see his massive lips just like there's a little bit of like tense pressure and then just an absurd amount of jaw strength to
You're
this
not
guy.
supposed to eat the stick, but okay.
Just like 8 different snapping sounds.
What happened to
A little
your-
bit of spout of bone marrow.
What happened to your vegetarian diet?
You see, there was a barrel of berries. There's no more barrel, and his hand is just like coated in juice.
Don't worry. While these were venomous, I don't think they're poisonous.
You see like little bits of blood dripping to the side of. Thank God. Thank the gods.
That was the stick, not.
Just don't eat the venom stuff.
And spurs. Bless us.
Right.
Yeah, I got them out for you.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Very specific check. Very
I'll
acidifier.
just check this out.
I think so.
What's DC?
I think it's 15.
Yeah, cool. I got a 28.
Cool. Okay.
Jesus.
So you see that
I
like
got you 3 fucking sacks out of it.
as this guy like he chews on it. I mean, you seemingly didn't even notice the issue with the whole poison thing.
Yeah.
Like you just pulled off the barbs. You see he like spits out a massive wad of black ichor, and as it hits the ground where a bunch of small stones are, you just see like a fizz pile of like acid burning stone, and he's just like, "Is that in the bone?"
Yes. It's a nice bit of like hotness.
You hear 3 more big crunches. And he seems to take the rest.
Just something. I'm
Said
just
he
gonna,
wanted to help.
I'm gonna trust him. I'm gonna die anyway in a couple of days.
Okay.
Dark starts walking towards him.
Okay. So as you walk, you pick up
Yeah, we'll move
all
our
of your
camp.
supplies. Got it. You take maybe 5 minutes to uproot, move everything.
Yeah.
You begin to walk. And it's daytime. Guys, I love the daylight. Do you know why? There's something cool about the sun, what it produces, what everyone has. So
Vitamin D.
vitamin D.
Vitamin D.
What do you notice? Actually, I want everyone, including Moki, to make me perception checks. This is a group perception roll.
I want
Who
good
can
skill.
notice this first?
Unless I roll that. 19.
Except, wait, I don't do it?
You can.
Oh, nice. Natural 20 for 28.
The buffalo got a 4.
That.
Fucking Pippo. It's a buffalo. 16, 18,
19.
19. Stop smashing the table with your hand.
I got a natural 20 for
Natural 20.
28.
Yeah.
I annihilated the creature.
Okay, well, you're the first to notice that probably the only thing you've had to keep. You're carrying the cart, right?
Mm-hmm.
So normally you're just doing like a one
Like,
hand.
sort of like rested on my back.
Yeah, sure. Often there are appendages of Cornells that flop out.
Sort of like, boom.
Exactly, right? It's the weirder thing when you're noticing in the direction the light is facing, it's actually illuminating the shadows of you ahead of you as you walk. You're walking west, and the sun's coming from the east. Cornell's arm didn't have a shadow. As that arm hung down, the moment you fuck it up, you're like, there wasn't even a reaction on the
Like,
ground.
no shadow, or it was like a shadow with a normal arm?
Like there was no reaction on the ground of which you're walking in front of that he was even that the arm was being moved at all.
Everything else is a normal shadow, right?
The cart, it like that is a big block above your head. That's visible. You can actually see, like from your position, Cornell's head is above the cart. So realistically, his head should be creating like a ball of light, or sorry, a ball of shadow above the cart. It's not.
Rock has a shadow, Cicero has a shadow.
Yeah. And that's when you notice. Melion notices it next. It's deep. It's deep into. No, I said Melion. He's gonna keep saying it as long as I do. You all notice that it's pretty easy. The creature that your hippopotamus doesn't notice it. The creature you're following doesn't notice it. You get swooped. A shadow of a bird. Heads for Moki. So Moki, you're pretty much the first to notice that, because you're looking down and you're looking at Cornell's arm and his head and how none of that is producing a shadow, which it should, like he never existed. You see light reflect from the water, creating two different types of shadows that form into one bird. It's small. It seems to swoop past you first. So Moki, you're the first to see that there is a shadow that goes past you. And then the rest of you notice that, but you don't hear the flapping of a bird. You just see a shadow kind of shoot ahead of you. It seems to go right past Moki's shoulder. And then the second time, you look up and you're not seeing anything. And the second time, that small bird shadow once again appears from the back of Moki. And it just seems to directly the shadow on the ground, which is in front of you as you walk ahead. Even Moki's shadow is in front of you. The bird seems to attack the cart's shadow. It hits the cart's shadow and then disappears.
I'm gonna pull that first.
So Moki, did you hear that?
Look around. Grab a spear.
Are
My
you
back.
hallucinating?
Am I hallucinating?
The figure stops and turns around,
Shouldn't
cloaked.
I haven't
So there's
slept,
invisible
I've
creatures
ate,
around.
I've drunk, I haven't eaten anything weird.
Magic works, I guess.
I've eaten only one thing that is weird, but I've eaten that before. Do you give me hallucinations?
Didn't even do anything.
Okay, well we all saw it, so
So it's clearly a group hallucination.
clearly we all drank the water.
Well, let's just keep going.
My God.
Yeah, but you can see that he has no shadow, right?
You see he pulls out Cornell's one arm and you see there is no shadow. Not on his normal arm, there's no
That
shadow.
is what it is, yes.
I
It's like
think
he's some sort of spirit.
I think it's Cornell's other thing.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah. After I saw him.
Well, that's good. It means if it's still, if it's still like that, that means he's probably still
He's
alive.
still alive.
I look at his clearly broken fucking neck. He's still alive.
You see that bone is actually metal.
Probably in horrific.
It wasn't before, or at least you didn't notice it.
We should have like put that back to, like right. We should have left him like.
Well, the doctor should be able to do it.
You're right.
There's so much skin that isn't connected to where it should be anymore that his head is almost like at a full right degree angle.
Yeah, his
has been
flesh
like
is
that.
being less red because there's no blood anymore.
Yeah.
And the salt air of the ocean has gone into. Oh, it's freshwater lake. Never mind.
Honestly, salt was no, right now. Well, guys, just keep an eye out for this group hallucination.
You see the cursed figure that has just been kind of like watching you guys have the discussion. He turned to you just without saying
I'm
anything.
just gonna grab my briefcase.
Oh yes, can you fix this person?
You hear, shadow birds are a problem here.
I wasn't
And he
answering my
turns
question.
around and
It's a
walks back
question
I'm
to
I
gonna
didn't
walk out
say.
beside him. What's your shadow bird?
Let's just hope that you don't have a good heart.
I don't think a single question I have asked in the last month has been answered properly. What's your name?
My name. My backstory. No. They call me the Raven Grafter. But my title was called the Surrenderer after I fled. My name is Aslan. A-S-L-A-N. Like the lion from Narnia. Just in case I have to break the fourth wall to tell you.
Well, I'm so sorry. What are you doing living out here in the middle of... Where are we, by the way? And what day is it?
I'm not sure what day it is. Haven't kept track in a long time.
That makes sense.
But I am a plague walker.
Oh.
I once stood as a defender, courageously flying with the charge against the encroaching darkness. My title was born of cruel irony from the moment I tried to flee from the battle that few surrendered from. That is why I live and they are not.
I mean, the plague walkers were the soldiers who fought in the war, or they came out of the...
They were seemingly the ones who came from outside of the Keter to deal with the lake before it was a lake. And the town barely, Krula didn't actually have any notable account of them. Like, you didn't even hear they weren't a whispered legend. But you did actually hear it from Armor.
Yeah. Do you know a tiefling guy named Bernard? Well, no.
You see, he takes 4 more steps and then stops. He kind of looks just down, right, doesn't actually make eye contact, but you notice that the beak isn't covering the mouth. And the mouth, there's kind of a strange, the mouth has been ripped open, exposing the mouth of an owl. Like if there wasn't a beak and it had been ripped off. Yeah. I have tea. Well, if...
Sorry, I didn't drink your tea. I just don't trust you at all.
You are injured and I asked to help. Of course, you do not trust me. It is the most trusting thing I could offer you. You are traumatized.
It could be poison.
Like the other bird was.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Do you mean like a humanoid bird with an owl face?
We come from a similar bloodline.
What was his name? Maybe it was part of the crew.
He just starts to walk again. Back towards... You're pretty close to the hut. You're walked most of the way through the forest now, and you're now seeing there is a tall tower connected to the base of a normal wooden building. Like a brick tower. I was once a part of a militia, a powerful force of movers that tried to end the corruption coming from this land. There is a reason most people don't come this far. I guard here a location of power. A rain stone nexus shrine is one surrounded by hundreds of corpses left to rot in a war 250 years ago. And you begin to notice at the edge of where you stand now, this is kind of like a clearing. And you notice that now that you're kind of getting to a higher elevation point of this clearing, you notice that the forest behind it, behind this structure, you can see visible bodies slumped against trees. And it's not like 1 or 2. It's like there's a forest floor of bodies just past his hut in the distance, only slumped like roots against the tree, except there are bodies. There are probably lots of them.
Are they all human? Or
they're about 200 feet away, and they're equivalently this point roots. They're so slumped. You're seeing a humanoid head, but
no equine bodies? Like centaurs?
Nothing. Not you're a good distance away. Cool. Horse bodies? No horse bodies yet.
Cool. I'm fine with him then.
I don't care.
I don't care about him being a mass serial killer.
It's okay. As long as he doesn't serial kill us, it's fine.
I had wings a long time ago, and when I did, my job was to hunt the things that could not fly. We were an order of the Plague Walkers. I hunted the witches. And as you kind of are close to him, you're noticing this like obnoxious smell. He says, if you ask the right people, witches are monsters. They slowly poison everything around them, twisting them into the things they should not be. They curse people, evidently. As he walks to the door and opens it and kind of gives you space in, lets the room, and you see inside it is a small place. There is one circle table. Carrying him. You're carrying his whole body, and now you're realizing
it's like wrapped in them.
Yeah. The shadow you're carrying is just like a shadow of a blanket.
It's a thin blanket. I mean, there's light going through it.
You know, it's weird. It looks like the blanket is holding a body, but there's just nothing. The shadow is not keeping up where it should be. Well, I can see, and you can too. There are. When the curses get to a certain point, it becomes obvious. After a certain point, they turn monstrous, shedding their human carapaces. It's better to catch them before they do. And he kind of has gritted teeth. But the ones I hunted I could never catch. Here, this is my abode, given to me by whoever was holding out refugees in this house a long time ago. There were bodies left in here, they have been removed. And he looks to you, which, he doesn't have eyes, he's got a big beak over where the eyes would be. He holds out his hands, willing... falls through. No. He catches the body, covered in cloth, and begins to walk it inside. The shadow of the room, darkens as even Cornell inside. You can see that there is some sort of a light inside, although it's like a dim lantern. It's reflecting that metal that is alien. Do you guys, you don't step inside?
Oh, inside.
Okay.
Okay.
Actually, we're closer to the bodies than we're going to smoke.
You're much closer to the bodies, yes. Okay. Yeah. Moki and Grok enter, make a perception check.
We all make perception checks?
No, just the people who are trying to do extra looking. 28.
Okay.
This is you see curved horns out of skulls. Some ram, some most broken, some embedded with blades, stuck to trees, impaled. It's like fragments of a battle scene, and you're noticing every fragment. Like, to describe this, it is a battlefield of war, yet no bodies were cleaned. And if this was hundreds of years ago, then it makes sense why you're seeing the bone visible under the armor. The decay so long that these creatures, this field, this forest is different. And you can see that the whole lush part of the forest that you came from closest to shore, it's much just darker. The leaves aren't as bright further in. And then you don't notice a centaur, but you do see like heavily buried remains of skeletal horses, like a ribcage of a horse, half emerged from soil, nearly completely buried. Like there are definitely this whole place in a mental state seems to hold the spirits of a lot of dead, but no visible actual spirits. So that's and
That's good.
and inside. It does smell a little better, but it just smells like kind of like a burnt leather smell. So, I want you to tell me about that friend that's missing. The Cicero said that I might be familiar with someone.
Wait, is it point to Cornell?
Not him. No.
The scaly one?
And you see from his countertop, he pulls out a long white feather.
Seagull?
First I thought so, but it was a wounded bird.
Could be a wounded seagull.
Its wings were covered in metal.
Could be a seagull still.
It did have some features of a seagull, yes. Tell me where his heel went. Only that I led him to the Rainstone Shrine, a nexus. I look at all of you, and I say that there is no way I can help you with this curse. And he removes the top of his mask, and you see it's actually, it's almost similar to Zeal. It's grey, feathered. It's a kind of a natural domed head of an owl, of an owlin, but these are called something completely different. And you notice that his beak is gone, and where, like Cornell, there is a massive amount of skin ripped from where the mouth should be. A fleshless mouth without a beak, even though he's a bird person, speaks to you in a kind of choked hush, unable to talk any louder. I could not remove the curses that hold me, but I could lead your friend to a place that maybe, if the Nexus was willing, if just take a shit outside.
Nope, never shit in my life.
Never shit in your life. That's right.
Maybe a slight tingle.
If we wait here a day or a night, let you recover, I could take you there in the morning if that is what you wish. But I don't know what happened to your friend. I left him there because, well, frankly, the energies of this beacon point. It is a nexus, a beacon of energy, a conductor. It seems to hold the stone and the gems that surround it are old and ancient, black like obsidian. It looks like a throne for a giant, but it has a hole at its top.
What is the limestone nexus?
It is a thane of power.
Is that supposed to guide us or?
A beacon where some of the oldest and strongest magics gather and culminate.
Are you a shaman?
I was cursed by one. And for that I could not remove it, not even from this nexus. But if your friend... And he, by the way, pulled from the countertop a white feather, which Grok said he knew. If your friend did jump into the nexus and lived, I unfortunately am not. And he had removed his mask, revealing how horrible the face was. No skin around the mouth at all. Just, it looked like a lot like Cornell's, ripped up open, exposing inner teeth.
Well, I'm going to die anyway if this nexus doesn't save me. So point me to the direction, and I'll head there. see the metal on my skin is slowly eating my insides. I won't be able to walk for much longer.
It is a 9-hour hike into the mountains. It is in the direction of All's Rest and Caligo Valley. Full southwest. But I can... He takes moments to reconsider his own words. I can tell you that if you bring dark magic there, and you do not wish it to be stripped from you, you might lose it forever.
Which cleanses dark magic.
It is a nexus of pure magic, of pure dreaming energy, which I don't fully understand, but I believe it can overcome most dark magics.
And please take this cursed book off me. Scorp will take out the cursed stone and just gives it to him.
Okay.
Which one?
The big one. That was
The Tom Riddle diary, the one, the curse book. There's a lot. The one that you stabbed with the knife that produced. Do you give him also the piece of paper with that?
The parchment was scanned in and already saved. So I have that.
No, I mean the actual, the really horrifying looking word bumble, which had to do with the pathways, life, fire, devotion. That was it was technically separate from the book. So whether you
just give it going. Do not go insane by the cursed ramblings of the darkness.
Just don't read it, lol.
Fucking edgy, Felix.
It will destroy your mind forever.
he opens it immediately, starts to flick through, and quite quickly, he's got, these are black pupilless bird owl eyes. For some reason, you can't even tell how he reads. There's no deviating.
Some nice life reading.
I stole it from a being of death. I cannot what's in it, but the potential of magic gateways. I will not need it if I'd have to die.
Closes the book. Amounts of dust. And you actually notice there's also salt that somehow sprays out of the pages. I think that this book requires a good, deeper amount of study. But I will consider this payment, even though I did not ask, for your food and your rest. I would not venture this alone. Metal green thing.
Oh yeah, that's green eyes.
I think that there are still a lot of dangerous monsters in these mountains, and the journey is perilous. Your bird friend flew there with metal wings. He was determined. I have lost my wings, so I will walk beside you. Okay. He's just sitting in the seat, which you don't think he's done in a while. There's only a third of the bread left, and it's just, yeah, exactly. There's just crumbs on his face. There's grog. There's grog.
I'm gonna die from the metal unless I get to this dangerous point on a perilous journey. There are two options.
What, you're dying?
There also a canyon to toss a ring into.
Either you rest up.
That's very far south.
Either you rest up and travel to All's Rest alone, or you come with us, meaning possibly in unknown danger, to reveal ourselves from these curses.
Yeah, there's a place that reveals us from Castle. Does Monkey know it? Different tribe stuff?
Or maybe stay here.
I would love to have a roll to see if it can do stuff about me.
Yes.
Yes.
Only a 4.
Well, I don't leave the card here.
Natural 1.
Cicerosa.
Fucking sucks. Okay, great.
I need to take the injured with me. If The Rowan is not strong enough.
It is.
I can power it up further and not charge it.
It is easy to say that the word nexus and thane, a thane nexus, is a word that you've heard before, and you've heard to it referred to only by your father and the oracles.
Because it's draconic.
And it has never been a place that it is only that you recognize that you've never been there.
Can I
Or
know
your
one more
engine,
thing?
right?
I want to know if my father in the oracle said it in a positive or a negative tone.
He lives there. He loves it.
That's it.
For the nexus.
Yes. Were they like had a positive feeling towards it, a negative feeling?
Mhm.
Was the feelings different?
Okay.
Pussies. We can't get persons and stuff.
But you know what? I just want you to do a sense motive check. I know your dice have failed you this whole time, but I believe in you. I will immediately give you your dad's the answer for your father, but it's the oracles that is more into question.
15.
That's the DC. It was the original DC.
And plus 8 on it.
Your father has very positive experiences from coming from it, although every time he's only talked about the bloodshed, the slaughter, how death surrounds these thanes. He just calls them a thane.
Okay.
But the oracles have hesitant obedience to your father's solo adventures towards those locations. Like, they don't trust the location, or they don't trust him with the location, which is all you could ever tell. It's distrust from them to him, or them to it. But it's almost, it's not obsession, but it is certainly, your father has obedience to these places. Obedience in a weird type of way that, because you don't know anything, you realized he never took you there. And if this was a place of power, surely it was a place of protection, right? If he wouldn't take you there, then it's either completely selfish or it's completely selfless, which to your father is a complete 50-50.
Well, I just made my curiosity go from I can probably avoid that place to not fuck myself, so I have to go to that
I want to
place.
fuck myself with the place.
Yeah, so come on, girl, let's go there and get fucking bucked off there.
Alright. Before we start heading off...
Moki's hand mouth starts to talk. Just the sexual...
No, you can't do that anymore.
You're right, okay.
Does any of you need healing? I have one charge. And I'm keeping one more charge for emergency stakes.
I actually sort of do. I have still bleeding from probably. Like spur.
I actually have a medical kit if you are in need of one. It might not help in major ways, but I will use whatever you don't take on your friend. Before you leave, I think you were going to take him with you, right? He's also very...
It's up to Guff. Guff.
Didn't we just come to this place so that we could give this guy some rest, and so we could help him?
Bird person, would this place be beneficial to put out? I pointed at dead ass body.
He suffers from the same curse as you. Then yes.
Okay.
And dead.
Yeah.
Also, his name is Aslan.
What?
His name is Aslan.
Aslan. Like the lion from...
I heard lad.
It's like ass and lad together, but without the D.
You know what? Thank you, bird lad.
You're welcome.
Okay, there's no sting of it.
I can't believe... He's so proud. I can't believe it was called...
The same drink that you've been drinking all the time.
Oh, no.
He offers you a vial of red liquid.
Put it in your
So
brain.
you start getting
It
fast feeling
Stuck in
1,
your
and
brain.
you parry it, it's fast feeling 2.
Oh.
For a minute.
I think it's only like the natural one.
I don't think it is from a magical source, no.
Oh.
It only does it from my source,
Okay.
because it's technically not magical, it's a rage thing.
Alright.
So I only get past 10
So 10 hit points.
Yay.
Why don't you do something with dice? Because I pick out so I get more healing with
Nope,
dice.
I don't have any dice healing. That's a cleric.
You don't have a play. They'll never have a play. It's actually not real. Unless.
Oh, yes. Okay.
If you only play, just call me.
Would you like some healing? You've experienced this before, but I really don't like it.
Guff, my lips are cracked. Is that...
You get some bomb.
That's my only wound.
Well, actually, Birdlight, how long the journey
If
to the
you
site?
think it would...
Apparently 9 hours.
9 hours?
9 hour hike, and I am quite slow without my wings.
I'm probably going to rest at least once in there. So, right? Or no? I don't know.
It's already midday.
That will not be best.
There will not be rest?
Well, not unless we have
Okay.
to go now before I die.
I'm not sure.
It
if
is
there was-
urgent. Well,
Let's
here,
hope there isn't
give
a-
me 15
gas
minutes to
mask there.
bandage the neck of your friend who's clearly dead.
No, it's okay. Because
He's very clearly dead.
No living but
There's no pulse.
no,
potential.
Cornell's just sleeping.
Actually, Aslan, if you come with me,
Actually, do you have any braces? I need to fix his broken neck.
That's what I've got. He's like holding a med kit.
Maybe you can shove it back in the front.
no promises, but I think I could probably cure your curse.
Do you
I'll
have?
do a heal check.
What do you mean you can heal his curse? How dare you?
Do you have the spell remove disease?
No, more like the rhinestone nexus fine. If I overcharge it, maybe it'll be strong enough to fix everything.
Well, we also have like a drop that can heal your disease for you, if you wish. Yeah, we have two of them.
Oh, I forgot about those.
Oh, you know my bloodstone. Yes?
What is that?
It would be really easy to kill, I just realized. I just poison a bunch of leaves and leave them there and you leave them.
No, I'm immune to poison.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Like, it only like makes me hurt a bit.
It's going back to being very difficult to kill them.
You've seen me be poisoned before.
I know.
So, Rock will start setting up to make it easier to transport the engine.
Okay.
We have it on the bloodstone. If it's just a disease that's affecting you here, just eat it. I think. I don't know. It wouldn't be disrespectful for me to walk through the graveyard or the battlefield.
You mean the forest?
Yeah.
Don't chew, just swallow.
Like I assume I shouldn't take anything from them, but like, can I just walk?
As long as you don't uproot a body from a tree.
That's a lot of that.
If it's not in the tree.
The trees are the problem.
A lot of the trees in there were people once, turned flesh by the witches 300 years ago. Actually, if you see any,
I want to go for a walk less and less.
if you see any trees that leak blood, on this continent, it is probably the cause of a person once turned to a tree.
Oh, we found the tree like that.
Well, that's consistent with
Yeah, we did.
We're going on a hike.
That is probably
Oh, no,
near
you
a site
have
of a
15 minutes.
witch.
I'm just gonna walk over there.
No, I don't think what you're saying is against witches. Witches can be.
Oh no, I mean hags. I'm a witch hunter, but more of a hag hag
I
hunter.
completely agree. Then hags should be put to death. Witches are good for.
If you want to
nature.
classify a woman as a witch, I feel like that is a bit derogatory in a magical sense.
Some
What are
of
you
it,
talking about? A witch is a magical practitioner who uses curses.
well,
What are you talking
not
about?
really. That's like what's
They are.
one definition, but they do other stuff.
The word arcanist is normally used to describe anyone who dabbles in magic of the.
Ones who are befouling to nature are hags. Witches generally go with nature. You say befoul nature,
You're
hag.
thinking of a shaman.
No,
Well,
particularly.
that's weird.
Witches are different from shamans.
Witches are like the cursed druids.
Shamans
So like you
use
said,
nature, witches cooperate with nature. They don't befoul it.
there's one
You
also.
have a weird
There's one.
view of what witches are.
Okay, no. Druids work with nature. They use nature. Witches just don't harm it.
No shamans don't harm it.
Yes, and like
So
shamans are
They
druids.
call the shamans in your tribes witches, I guess.
Yeah, shamans, druids, and witches are different.
You see,
Yes.
Moki, you have a
Yes, they are.
small misstep in that I have tracked witches for many centuries, and that witches are the only form hags can disguise as.
Yes, but sometimes witches aren't hags in disguise. Sometimes they're
Absolutely.
actually
You should never assume the gender of a witch.
Okay, look.
Even if it's a man,
I feel like you, despite being a witch hunter, you
Witch
haven't
is not
met
a
many.
gender.
it could be a dude!
Witch is not gendered.
Really?
No.
No,
Every witch I've met has been either female or feminine.
that's true too. I haven't met a man witch yet, but I believe
I've met one, but he was very feminine.
Still a man.
No, he will dress it. That's not a man.
there's a word to describe a male witch, and that is warlock.
Oh, no.
But often those
Those
are.
are very
This
that's
person,
what my
this person
shaman
kept
has.
calling himself a
Much
witch. He
harder
was like,
than-
I'm a witch.
Although for
and
some reason I don't know
he
what they
kept
do.
flirting
in
with
this
every
world.
boy.
I mean,
Oh, weird. I've had to hunt witches and warlocks many, many times, and at the night, witches transform, changing their appearance
Like
back
300
to
years
their
ago, they
evil
were much
selves.
different, but then I don't know, something happened.
Oh, that probably explains why we don't really get involved with witches until it's been like a day and night. Yeah, that makes sense.
There are also witches that can disguise themselves as shooting stars.
I don't know.
Like comets in the sky, they fly towards you like fireballs.
I find that hard to believe.
Well, I'm going to go for a walk. Good luck with
He,
corpse.
I,
Dead, desiccating corpse. Enjoy.
if you're leaving your friend here, I will strap him down, make sure that he is good to be moved. Are you returning in 30 minutes to then take your journey out, or am I doing this in 5 minutes and then we're leaving right now?
You can take that thing.
Because you said you're dying. I don't. If
Oh,
I'm definitely dying.
Short rest don't need the healing now.
okay, well, I will try to be less than 30 minutes.
Right.
You guys starts
Do
to
what
heal
you want,
wraps
there's a
of
lot of
bandages.
options for me to look at.
I'll just pack a bag full of like rations filled with stuff.
Yeah, sure. You actually also find some leather straps, some harnesses,
Does this guy
stuff
have
like that.
saddlebags?
He has harnesses, but not saddlebags.
You.
I just
Will
Anger.
That's
go
right.
to the,
Surely you skinned the black creature a bit.
Is it? You think that furless creature has good skin?
Will
Yes,
take
it
off
could be
the
leather.
It has like spurs and
It
horns
has
coming out of it.
40 hit points.
It's not as comfortable as leather. It feels like stone if you were to sit on it, which can function as a saddle, just not a good one.
No, saddle bags. I don't need the saddle. I just need the bag.
Sounds
You
like
you
tough
find
exterior.
2 saddlebags attached to a bunch of saddle straps that seem to have been just left in a clump on the floor.
That's what I want. I don't
Empty
need a
coil
saddle.
sack.
But
yes,
but
that's
saddle
saddle.
saddlebags catered that are this size.
Oh fuck yours. Saddle bags
That's
for a
called a
horse.
pouch.
That's a pouch.
You're right. There are no saddlebags.
Okay.
Except for the ones that Viper has. But you...
Yes, yeah, of course. You guys have brought some saddlebags with you, but they're pretty full.
We did strip
Yeah,
Viper,
we did.
didn't we?
Yeah.
He was naked.
Here's a free horse.
Okay,
Except
cool.
for his horseshoes, which are now nailed.
So you've got
I
one.
forgot that.
Wait, no, you've got 2 saddlebags. The horse had one, and you had one.
Saddle bags are generally the
big
two
bags.
bags
Yeah,
on each
I'm
side,
thinking.
so they're not unbalanced.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. I have a saddle bag.
Brock will take off Cornell's shackle. Because
Okay.
Free magic.
It does not come off. Not
well,
easily.
it doesn't
You-
because Brock enchanted it. That's why Brock's like, I need
Yeah, he had
this.
to give him.
You have to do a disable device check.
I leave. Goodbye.
I think if
Wouldn't
it's
it
a
be-
dead person.
I need to do a disarm check.
No, it's disable device. Only because these are literally
Right? Or is
these.
it welded close?
It seems welded.
Nice.
It seems welded.
Anyway, see you.
There's no locking mechanism at all. There's a 2-inch wide hole at the under area of where you could imagine a key, but it's just a hole. It's that big. So
Okay.
roll for it. You don't.
Brock will
Wait,
spend.
are we leaving the
Brock
hippo?
will just try to find.
Oh,
the
for temporarily. There's a short. Yeah. You can leave the card here.
stuff here. It's
I'm
fine.
packing saddle bags.
Leaving the
Right.
curse stuff, but Brock will take the embryo
Do you take your metal cube?
metal cube. Yeah, it's not evil magic.
Which one? I have 6.
That black smudge is not evil magic.
No,
It's
no.
magic that you can't even read. So who knows if it's evil?
Not evil at all. Alien.
Nah.
It's okay. Okay. So
Cornell has this. So someone else can have it.
is it the mule?
No, it's a cat. That's in this guy.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
The cap of baby disguise. Disguise baby.
Child person. This guy.
Puts on the cap.
Shrinking down. It does take on the kind of goblinoid appearance, which I think is just an immediate for you. It's not even human. It's just like, wow. But
I turned to a small human shack.
yeah, goblin is
Hello.
now an addition, but you never needed to use goblin because goblins were goblins.
Oh.
They needed to disguise as babies.
Oh, I can turn to an adult halfling. Wow.
Damn straight.
When I was inside, I was so long. Did I feel like my cancer was spreading?
Yes, but the good part was that most of that, like, it was the back half where Cornell was sleeping. That those shutters were closed. This front half where you were most of the time was all kind of naturally filtered in by light from windows and shutters that were left open. And no, it did not seem to accelerate that. Seemingly, as long as there was natural light coming in. And you get into an area where it's quite shaded. Still,
Yeah, we don't walk through the battle.
that whole area, that battlefield, and you're noticing like the first 100 bodies you see are then followed by like patches of trees, and it's like groups of 2 or maybe 3 that look totally normal, but in the area where the first branches separate, there is a trickle of crimson that has like hardened and calloused like blood sap does. The trees around you all dripping blood down the bark. You move in some distance to the point where it's a wide variety now. You're seeing bird corpses, but birds of humanoids, like widespread, basically fossilized on the ground, like they had just fallen from the sky. There's a lot of seemingly tiefling, demonish humanoid heads, skulls, bones of. You actually notice some minotaur skulls, some larger bull heads attached to humanoid bodies, and then the other weird thing is a bunch of really tiny bodies, stout, thick boned. Could be halflings, but that's a thick halfling.
There you go, very thick bone. Yeah, I'm just gonna touch the blood tree there as well. It's like, oh, probably.
You even find one saddlebag that is attached to a horse that has half fused with the side of a tree. And like you can pull that saddlebag, but you actually see that. Or you just open. You see what looks like kind of it's a short sword. It has almost like wings at the side, which create the crossguard. It's just quite pretty. Simple, elegant. It actually looks silver. It is, as you pull it out, the amount of rust. It is bad. It is rusted a lot, but the actual top half where the hilt is and where the handle is, crossguard is, it's okay. A lot of very rusted weapons you do find. A few different horse bodies. But most of the horse bodies that seem to have remnants of humans on them all seem to be fused to trees. The more mass, the better.
I'm trying to ascertain who was fighting who, what they were fighting.
Absolutely. This would be knowledge local, knowledge history, or you could do hard perception.
I'll do local.
Okay.
Oh, I'm fucking dumb. Oh no.
Your DC is 15. Okay. It does look at this point like you're just seeing the kind of deepest part of a battle, these bodies colliding, twisting and killing each other, then splitting off into 2 different directions. Like, you think that it's a military force coming from south, Caligo way, but then you're noticing that half of the tiefling bodies are also coming from the south. Like, there's a bunch of dwarves that got pinched between bird people, demon people, minotaur people, from 2 different sides, north and south. But you're seeing them coming from both directions, so you can't tell if they're fighting together against.
Trying to use the spirit member to put it together, but got a big headache. Why is thinking so hard?
You look deep in, and you just see that there is a stag, just wide-eyed. Do it. You. It impales his face. You nailed it.
Die.
It's a head that has emerged from the side of a tree and is looking sideways, and you see the neck is just fused to the tree. As you exit the forest and you make your way back, what did the 2 of you guys want to be doing while Melion just went straight into the area where all the bodies are? Cicero.
Grok will activate Detect Magic and try to find all of the evil magic stuff that he has, double checking,
Mm.
and just making sure that he doesn't bring it.
I'm gonna
Oh, okay, yeah. You don't bring it? Yeah, I got
I'm gonna
you.
get some rope, have the blanket tied around Cornell, and also rope tied around it, and then I'm gonna put him on back so I don't have to carry him everywhere.
I was going to say, the moment you've watched Melion enter the forest, and by the time he's coming back,
Yeah.
your Cicero, your friend you're not friend yet, Aslan has brought out this body. The bone is not, is in the neck. It doesn't actually even look like it's jutting out. It looks like it's perfectly been placed back. There is a lot of wrapping around the neck. But you see, as he basically hands it off to you, he speaks quietly, so that none of these guys, even though they are now visibly like eyeline of you, there is a pulse. Once every minute.
Really?
And he just,
I'm fully prepared.
give me one moment. And he goes back inside and leaves the door open, but you see him hit the end of the room and then head up the ladder towards the second floor. So he just hands it to you, whispers to you, and then walks back inside.
Okay. I'll blanket, wrap him up, put him on my back.
It's still
Cold.
It's still that, yeah, cold, but you're holding nothing in the shadow of the light that is in front of you.
Oh yeah, like his face has no shadow lines. It's fucking weird.
No,
Like
not
it's
that his
front.
face has no shadow. The moment you offhand him, yeah, there is nothing. It's not his face. His body doesn't produce. It looks like you're handing off a bunch of clothing.
Wow.
Arm straps. That's it. You all gather together and begin to depart. And that is when you notice that this Aslan has got a, think of it as like the guy on the top of the train in the Polar Express. Big stick, big sack at the end. Starts to walk. No. And begins to walk. And he's not asking if you guys are following him. He's just marching in the direction. You guys have spent 30 minutes gathering, leaving, departing with some of your goods.
What follows with the wheelbarrow and oh, I should have mentioned on the 2 days of voyage,
Mhm.
Rock has been mending
Oh, yeah. Totally. The boat?
the engine.
The engine. Oh, okay. Well, you can note that you should have said that ages ago. It's okay.
Yeah.
On the course of the boat, there is not much you could do on the boat, but the time on shore you could have done a little bit.
Okay.
The process of unpacking your whole engine is very difficult, but getting it, like if you released the vibration technology on the water, on the boat, it would have made the thing weigh 3 times the amount. So the moment it's on the shore and you've realized it's lost 26 hit points. The inside is actually heavily damaged. Like the outside shell took the power, but the brute force crushed it in. It has 13 hit points left. It really won't take that much time. It's just about undinting, remolding some of the piping. Most of this stuff is just going to require, I'd say, at tops a week of fixing for it to be primed, ready to go. So, but if you want to roll a crafting check for me, and if you roll well, then we can add hit points immediately, just from that, before you even find Aslan.
24.
24. Okay. Roll a d6 for me, and you can get that. You can get that much HP back.
6 HP.
6 HP. So 6 HP off 27. Your engine is missing 21 hit points. And we'll end soon because we're gonna get Felix 2 workers. But I can drop you.
It's free, man. I saw that.
That's right. Okay. Well, we're gonna end early, but we can keep going. Cool.
I'm gonna leave my sorrow soup here.
Ooh. Okay.
It's all because and I'm gonna give the Murky my version.
Okay.
Here go. This turns you into a dinosaur.
What?
It has a
That's
It
what
is
the Cornell drank to get the head things.
it has dr.t next to it.
Ah, okay, that's the thing that permanently alters your DNA.
Oh, what's DNA?
Don't worry about it. It will permanently make you a big. Wait a minute. Did it have a label on it?
Spoke of the
That's a mystery concoction that could change the flow of battle. Drink it when we're in dire situations.
If you could examine the actual liquid, it's a green tinted glass. If you could see the liquid on the inside, you could find out. But, yeah.
I don't know what a dinosaur is.
Dinosaur, is that like a scaly thing?
They're like big lizards. That are from...
Fire-breathing big lizards?
No, not dragon. It's like a big animal. I think. I don't think they're on this continent.
Okay, I'll just put it on my belt.
There's a lot of this continent.
Please? Where?
Hell.
Where's hell?
Texas. We've done this joke literally already before. That's why it's funny that Nick.
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute. And for Moki's perspective, the word prehistoric is more formidable than dinosaur, for what you understand. And there were prehistoric creatures.
Prehistoric just means before recorded history.
It's basically like you call them prehistoric because when the Fae arrived, aka you, these guys were here beforehand, and most of the creatures that hadn't adapted to your kind died. You know, that's why there is actually like basically a prehistoric lineage, but most of the creatures here I wouldn't even classify as dinosaurs. They are just big lizards.
I think dinosaurs are canonically in the Fae though.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, no, but you wouldn't call them dinosaurs anyway. That's not what they're called.
They're just animals, and, like normal animals.
They live in the biggest forests in that world. Yes, and hell. They also live in hell. You
Wouldn't have saved it.
You find that the walk you begin, the journey, the first 4-ish hours is probably the easiest, where it's barely hilly, where the forests are dense. You step over many, many bodies. Many of them you don't even realize the ones you accidentally kick. You hear like a ripping sound as you notice that what is exposed is the fact that they were almost stitched to the tree, even though they just appear to be slumped up against it, like they'd been stabbed, shot, whatever. The more you begin to move through the forest, the more you notice sap that is red, crimson, dripping, trickling down from the bark. That is a brown, dark brown.
So, is the witch dead who caused this?
Aslan looks back, the kind of bird mask he has re-put on, his face still visible beneath, just, disgusting. No. And he keeps walking.
Well, if this is a witch and not a hag, we should be fine.
As he walks,
I'd say it's a hag, please.
I just hope she's not a bitch.
Witches can be able to.
Most witches aren't bitches.
Arguable.
Although some liches are bitches. Yes.
at some point, you can tell it becomes obvious when something you think works for you turns. This army did not know that they did not have an ally to fight with. They lost this battle because of them, he says as he walks.
They did not know they had an ally to fight with.
They did not know that they did not have an ally to fight with.
They thought they had an ally, but then they
It
came in.
seems like a bunch of dwarves got attacked from two sides. What I got.
It seems betrayal as a foot.
The dwarves were supposed to be allies. They came ready to kill. So they slaughtered the dwarves, which were grey and from under the earth. And then I saw what came out of the lake before it was a lake. 3 women as he walks. One much taller, one, the middle height one I would say was still 10 feet tall. The shortest was about Grog's height. At first they looked beautiful, and then when the shadows took them, they became grotesque. The tallest, she could do this. Turn people into trees.
I just have dreams about her every night.
Well, at least they don't have to suffer too much as a tree.
All three of them were.
Maybe one of them died.
Why wouldn't they suffer as a tree? They're alive and they'll turn to a tree.
It's a curse. It's a curse. It does not kill them. It simply glues them, binds them.
It sounds. I know some people would be into that, but not me.
You have a curse in you too.
Well, no, it's a family thing.
Bloodlines hold curses. It is different, but it is all the same to me.
Well, some bloodlines don't consider them curses. We just be blessing or strength or weakness or anything.
A lot of curses can rebuke other curses. It is a shame it could not do it to the letter. Yours is potent. I can tell, because it is stronger than the curse that clings to you. But I don't know how to help any of the curses. I simply know how to find them, hunt them. Until I found the shrine, the rainstone nexus. I tell you, it does not look like rain, just stone. Black glass, a throne of stone.
You've been here for how long?
He just keeps walking.
Like right up. A while ago.
250 years ago.
Yeah, the tiefling that you saw at the very beginning of the campaign is like 300. 250, 300.
Bird lad. Can I ask you something?
Lad? Yes?
Yeah, you have a crush on him.
Have you seen any people of my kind go to the Nexus?
I guess the stone didn't do it.
He did swallow the stone. You're talking about... he acknowledges, but... When I got there... it was an ambush point for another race. The witches sent them running. So now I believe it is abandoned, but if it was abandoned, that means any terrestrial traveler could have wandered up into them. If you know someone, or if you know oracles that have an understanding of the land, they could find this place probably quite easily.
You haven't seen any yourself?
Seen the oracles?
No. Centaurs.
300 years ago I did. They were led into battle. And then they were forced to fight as the vanguard. Fight the green 3 women first. And at that point, when I saw the 3 women, I felt so much suffering and sorrow. I left. That is why they call me the Surrenderer.
300.
And I couldn't kill them in 300 years. They have wreaked so much havoc, I can't even imagine.
One of them named Abigail, what? I never got there. I never
forgot their names. I fled before I could hear them speak, but she didn't need me to speak. She cursed me just by looking at me. Grok, make a sense motive roll.
Appreciation. Thank you. A little history lesson.
It is not often we live so long. You are special, just to be born.
I wasn't alive during that time. Viva was my father, but his father.
There was probably a lot more before then, too.
I knew who led the charge then.
If I remember, it was over 40 of them.
That makes sense.
It was if the word is correct, it is a coven of hags. That was the three. If I believe that is correct, and it is just those three, then they are coven together.
The descent of worked with that?
No.
Against them.
They ran towards the three women when they first emerged from the pit. What did you get, Grok?
Yes,
8. No, most of the stuff he's saying is pretty much above the board, but you know there is hesitancy to, like, answer your question about the whole Abigail thing. There is a type of set of stones in front of you that are different from the ones you've seen before. And as you see those stones, he says, "Oh, we have just begun. 5 hours in. Now the journey starts." And you see spires of obsidian-like glass that just jut vertically.
Are we going up to an active volcano?
No.
An active volcano?
Active mountains?
You mean like a bunch of landslides happen quite often? Or like ashes of cloud of ashes.
300 years ago, these mountains rose on their own. Without a whim or a reason why. These were called the Shattered Teeth because they grew wrong. And the Verlander Rings, and he points to the east, where the sun is now almost directly above you, but he points to the other mountains. Just like the ones we are on now. A mouth formed around this lake. A mouth formed around the coven. I don't know what it means.
That makes you think about the bottom of the lake has a gullet which goes down.
They did seem to pull themselves from it covered in something black, like ichor, like tar.
Interesting.
As you make your way now into kind of a different area. I want all of you to roll me, if you're proficient, sense motive rolls.
Oh, yay. You mean if you're trained?
Trained, sorry.
24.
24.
24.
Wow.
What do you get?
I'm not trained.
You're not trained. I don't bother.
I'm just a guy.
No. There's... For being cursed, this guy said he could be cured by a disease, right?
Yeah.
You're noting the coloration in his hand has gotten better, but the horrific view of his face is not changed. And Moki, you notice that the moment Grok tries to describe, he says the word Abigail, but tries to reference the creatures, there's not just hesitancy, there's a reason he stops before he says it. There is a kind of a shifting. You're looking at kind of like a mountain landscape, rough, jagged stones of black glass ahead of you. there's something on the path ahead of you, and it's bright and it's in the sky, like a star, west, like a pinprick, and it slowly gets bigger, bigger. And it doesn't sound like this molten mass moving through the sky. Kind of like a staticky sound. A pinprick becomes a silverish dot the size of a golf ball in distance in 1 second. Pinprick, golf ball. Face. Mocking wide mouth. It's a meteor that is smiling and has eyes that glow a molten color and a mouth. It flies through you and then it flies past you, behind you, over your head. And as you all look back, you see Tudor walls, wooden palings supporting a wooden frame. You look around, it's big.
In the room.
There's a stone floor, wooden walls, and a brick chimney fireplace, an unlit hearth to the right corner of the room, and a single chair. There's a shawl, a cloak, like the figure you saw before, many, many layers of fabric cover it. You saw that thing fly, but then as you look back, where that light, where that color, where that face of a mocking meteor flew past you, it seemed to hit the wall and then just disperse. And now you turn back and you look at this room and you're stuck in a house. The left side of the room, opposite side of the fire pit, there's another door. Small wooden door, but it is almost piled with junk and scraps and things that you would rather not. Layers of abandoned filth that best remains uninvestigated in the corner of the room, guarding the door. And a rocking chair. And this cloak-shrouded figure. Meliorn, you recognize the broken mirror. I can't believe every time I try to get in character, thank you, Nick, you snap me out of it. And a small velvet sack. That's the only difference you see that there wasn't there before. Kind of like a crimson color. Looks like an actual velvet. You see swathed in squalor's clothes. Gently, you hear the grinding of wood as you see some sort of a figure stand. Cloaked, hunched, tall. So tall that the top of her head hits the roof. 10 feet up. Her body is thin as Moki's, but her height. And she doesn't even look at you, just stands up. And then this sound, this resounding echo as a door behind you, at the back of this room, not where you're looking, the back. So technically the way you were looking beforehand, before the meteor pulled you to the back of the room, the front of the room, you can see a broken glass window. It shows a rocky exterior. And you can actually see what looks like a herd of creatures. They almost look like bulls. If their necks are longer and they have massive balls of massive balls.
Huge balls.
One would say prehistoric. At the edge of its tail, a mace ball, spiked ball. You have seen these creatures before. The Catoblas, the first creature you fought as a group. You see a herd of them. A horde, a stampede moving outside of the room that you're in.
We fought that when we were in a different system.
The figure swivels as you say that.
Excellent.
Fourth wall! No. Casting off the soiled brown drenched rug to expose a figure of ancient horror. Once a woman, you think, where ears should be adorned, dried blood cakes her temple. Her eyes have vacated their sockets, one of which now holds a small roach, calling it its home. Following the trail of fresh blood, black ooze seeping down her cheeks to her puckered mouth, where it meets at a crushing end, jagged, discolored teeth, only 2 of them, make a mess of the cockroach intruder inside it. Welcome to the Sorrow Mother's abode. I can impart knowledge or break your curses, but I seek a boon. Ears to hum to, eyes to gaze with, or teeth to chew through. Which would you offer me?
Can you take the metal off my skin?
Provided you give me what I want. But if you cannot spare me that, lastly, I yearn for a tale of love, to feel my heart pulse once more. And she reveals under the dark shawls of an interior, she presents a hollow chest. Where a stomach should be, there is nothing. Above it, housing the withered, scorched black remains of a dead heart. Her neck contorts, stretching unnaturally towards you. Her body is now, her head basically touching the roof, bends down towards you. To help your friends, you must share a love story. Who would like to go first?
You're the hag of Sorrow Mothers?
I am the Sorrow Mother.
Oh.
That is one.
Okay.
We are our mayor.
I was under the impression that if we go to the Nexus, it will break our curse. Why don't we?
Yes, with your friend, Aslan. Is it Aslan?
Oh, Bird Lad.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. She starts to there's no eye. It twitches.
Why don't we just go through the door and head to the Nexus then?
You're more than welcome to try. But before you leave, I will need that story, or one part of one of you.
The parts with tail, teeth, eye.
Ears, teeth, or an eye.
Ears, teeth, or an eye. Well, I'm already missing my ears, and I sort of want my teeth. You want a love story?
That will be all I ask to cure you and them
And
and him. And she points to Cornell on your shoulders.
Are you asking to have the story or to hear the story?
You will feed it to me.
Oh, okay. Guys, did any of you fall in love? Because I'm not giving this. I'm not giving her my.
Tell me her name.
No, thank you. You guys must have a love life or something.
I thought you were the wife.
I do. I'm not going to
It literally, the head bends about 3 feet away from your head, but is like looking at your level, at them, beside you.
So they probably had a love life. You know them. What about bird life? Bird life. Have you ever loved someone?
You see, there are like tangled threads of grey and black hair that just kind of hangs
What about you,
ring girl
Cornell?
style.
Cornell, did you love someone? Oh, you're dead.
Valion or Andrews have a love life?
Nope.
You know what's ironic is that the only 2 people she's looked at is you and you.
Gork, have you had a love life?
I had a bit of a flame.
Because if it was a
All
flame,
right.
it's already gone out. Go.
But I can't talk about it.
Go on, flames out.
I can't talk about it because of the gear spell, so if you can disable it off me,
Oh, screw you.
You want it.
I
you
can
want.
speak it. If you take it off me.
He has a chip in his head that will blow up if he says the wrong thing. Can you take that out?
So like, you can have
And she smashes her hand to the back of the hearth, just the rock wall. And Melion, you've seen this before. The hearth explodes with green fire, and it burns up the side of the brick wall, up until the point where the whole roof, in 6 seconds, becomes embroiled with green fire, burning up the wood. And you hear it like blistering, cracking, popping, all of the sounds wood would do. But the frame is actually, it's holding, or temporarily. You are free to speak her or his name. Tell me which story is better.
Wait, was it something you built? People in love with something you built.
He did.
You built yourself a wiper?
Rock as a buddy.
Alright.
This is why we had to get back to
A
the ship.
bust made of metal.
This is gonna be a
Was he
long...
made of metal?
A bust. Like what is on the front of a ship. She does seem genuinely pissed off every time Moki talks.
Do you have like a...
Oop. Yeah, it's okay.
Do you have like a
Thanks,
chair
buddy.
or something? Or...
She pulls her arm back from the wall of green fire and now the roof of green fire and brings her one rocking chair towards you.
Alright.
I'm gonna walk over now.
Sit. You walk over, make a perception check for me.
This is gonna be a long story.
27. Good, DC was 25. A small velvet sack, you notice, holds a bird beak, a small child's bitten off foot, and many white hairs and grey feathers, all stained with blood. That is all you find. And obviously shards of the broken mirror. Tell me what I need to feed my heart. Grog.
A long, long time has passed.
Yes. I can feel him. He wants to shut it off.
I miss.
He wants to flick the switch. I will hold him off for now.
A minor demoness.
The eyebrows
Warrior.
of the hag raises.
Strong enough to destroy anyone who stood in her way. Although I don't know where she is anymore. We started a revolution. That's where we first met. At least in more of a closer relationship. I provided weaponry, organization, and everyone else brought muscle. I came up with the strategies to make sure the revolution was going smoothly. We got close. Too close. Now, what exactly are you looking for?
You have given me a good appetizer. What I want to know is what made your heart beat for her. Against all odds. Against the conjurer's cruel taunts and insubordinate demands from you. You made time for her when he would not give you any. Finish the story, Rock.
She won my heart. By simple means that she was better than me in every other way. And every chance she had to kill me, she failed. Every chance she should have. She enjoyed it, being above an orc like me, who should be so much superior in many ways. Yet she completely and utterly destroyed me. And it became fascination. And fascination became attraction, if you will. I believe the saying's opposite attracts.
Everyone else in this room but Grok. And
After she pegged you, you fell in love.
How's you down?
the last things you remember, Grok, as the roof you suddenly see is extinguished, and it is all charred and blackened, but it seems to still be holding. You hear two different distortions in your right ear. Static in your left ear. The hag. The woman's gruesome appearance seems to grin, revealing her heart, once dead, now unnaturally youthful and vibrant, pulsating incongruously inside her slightly less decayed chest. She stretches her neck, and as you're hearing that static, you hear from her, fascination.
Yes, in the end, I couldn't be with her.
Fascination was all it ever was.
I was driven away. Far away from the cruel conjurer's needs and the needs of people, the ones. I couldn't live the life I wanted.
What?
I was supposed to join.
What are you saying?
Before I left.
What? You said.
Apparently she bore my child. Yet I haven't seen it. And I will never see that child again, for it has been 10 years.
And you will never see her. As the last memory of the love you held for the woman. And all the memories you had formed from that love. The last thing you muttered was the child she took. Who's she? What child?
No, I don't remember her name. May we continue?
What? Shut it down! Shut! You see Grok just fall face first. Hit the ground. You're at 0 hit points. And then you watch as the entire wall behind you, the one that is facing the hordes that were stampeding Moki, you only realize too late as Grok falls down, but there is a bull creature completely soaked in blood. It explodes. Its massive body impacts the edge of the frame of the structure you're inside of, smashing glass and wood inside, spraying you all as Grok's body is just still on the ground. Besides Cornell, this bull creature, it isn't just covered in blood, it is skinless. You see its body is kind of twisting and bending unnaturally. Its tail appears to be, with that big bowling ball of spikes, is snapped and broken in 3 places, like it has bone that it shouldn't have. You notice...
Wait, am I unconscious or on 0?
You are at 0 HP.
Oh, I'm still up then,
You are still up.
because I'm an orc.
Just because you straight up hit the ground, like you had the cruel conjurer cut all brain function in your brain for 0.1 second, and you see Cornell is no longer. Was he on your back?
Yep.
He's no longer on your back. He is
Cornell?
hanging.
Cornell?
3 feet away from you, held by the loose grasp of a hag woman who you watched her back legs scuttle up the wall, her rear half being like spider climbing, and her rear half scuttles up. Her body is just holding Cornell aloft like a kind of a puppet.
You can't just take him.
Watch me! And she goes down into the hearth and scurries up. Like a spider. With the body. And as you guys are faced with this dinosaur bull, skinless flesh abomination like you fought a long time ago, with outside, Mogi, you've seen it before. Memories. Flashes. Gold. Flakes of gold, like snow that drifts through here. Golden flakes of snow once covered here. And now it is a black shrine of stone and obsidian. You have a moment where it's like there is a winter's breeze bringing golden leaves or snowflakes. And then it is snapped back by the sudden realization that you are in deeper shit than you realized. And we will end the episode right after I tell you that it's excessive breathing. You begin to see small little plumes of a noxious green gas as the room you are in slowly begins to be filled with a toxic gas spewing from this creature's mouth. And that is where we will end the episode, and to see how you guys escape this fucked situation.